press start button. Okay.
Oh, look at us.
Quick check. Can we do a quick check? If
yes.
who prefer white theme for IDE? Because it's important. For 3 hours watching different code things happen in IDEs. Okay, few people. Dark theme.
Dark theme.
Okay, so we do white theme then. So
light, of course. We do
can you show on the screen? Can we see this?
Light? Yes.
Yeah.
We
can we see how this would look?
Where is? Yeah, we definitely should
get out of the presentation mode because we don't see anything.
It's not a presentation mode. You're right. Yeah. Where is it? Where is it?
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. I need to find PowerPoint.
Yes. Find the PowerPoint.
Yeah. Okay.
Kill
and
the presentation.
now, yes.
The good thing is the movie theater, right? So in this case.
Dark modern. We obviously do light because everybody voted for. My eyes bleeding. Right? No, it's fine. Look at them. They're not angry.
Let's try the dark one and show some code so we can see that. Because this is probably most important thing of the setup.
Yes. We don't have any code now.
Yeah. Can you do a little bit bigger on the fonts?
Yes. Here we go.
Okay. So we can work on this one. So bring back the presentation slides.
So what did we decide? Dark?
Yeah, dark, right? It looks good, right?
Yeah, okay, dark.
Let's see if I can show my thing. Okay, theme. We're going to go with dark. The zoom.
And you are one, right?
HDMI one, yeah.
Yep.
Perfect, right?
Yeah, no, that looks good.
Yeah,
Why do you have code? You're not supposed to have any code.
It's a surprise for the audience.
Okay, all right.
Okay. All right, welcome. Let's make some noise. Like, did you get a nice lunch?
It's Devoxx.
Oh, what?
Nice lunch. It's Devoxx.
Not doesn't compute. I don't know. Explain the joke.
He's too young.
Yes.
The Devoxx sandwich. No.
No.
Above his.
Yeah.
What is that? Important stuff. Important stuff.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Stop clowning. Okay, so welcome. It's gonna be 3 hours. Okay, so just to make sure we're on the same page, it's gonna be deep dive, like a deeper. We didn't dive.
No, that's the deepest
we can get. Yes, there's gonna be like a 4 or 5, or maybe if we're gonna like 6 different tools.
Definitely 6.
We're gonna be observing, and just to confirm that it's the agentic IDE coding presentation, so you're in the right room.
This. Yes.
Okay, I want to show you one thing, but this thing is not ready yet because I didn't check if my IoT setup is ready to.
Yeah. So we're doing it live. That's
yes, we're doing this live. Yes. Let's do the slide about what kind of clones.
All right. Yeah, I'll start with it and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's our plan for today. It's a lot. And I'll take a second to explain what we're going to do. So we're going to show you the AI system coding, what used to be called vibe coding because before it became a very bad word. Now we don't use that anymore. We call it AI system coding, and we're going to show you 6 tools, 3 agentic IDEs, and 3 kind of command line tools with different models and different methodologies. So IDEs will be JetBrains with Juni on our favorite coding model right now, Sonnet 4.5. We're going to show you VS Code Copilot on a different coding model that will be the Grok Code Fast 1. And we also will show you how Copilot Cloud, GitHub Copilot integrates with Visual Studio Copilot, which is very, very nice. And the third idea we're going to show you will be Kiro, which is a new kid on the block, very promising, does a lot of very interesting stuff. We're going to also use Sonnet 4.5, and then 3 command line tools, GPT Codex with GPT-5 Codex model, Claude Code with Sonnet 4.5, and Continue Dev, which is another very interesting and promising new command line tool that the interesting part about it that it can run local models. So we'll show it to you with Olama.
Let's do quick show hands, like who use at least one of those. Keep your hands up. If you use 2 of those.
Okay, everybody.
3 of those. 4 of those.
6 of those. Yeah. Okay, we got
Okay.
it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So interesting. Everybody use something, and I guess what is called Cursor.
Cursor?
Who's using Cursor? Oh, not. Okay, that's surprising.
What's the most popular one that
Just
everyone's
like
using?
shout, so
Shout.
we'll ask a vote. Okay.
But why didn't you raise your hand?
He did.
It's confusing.
Yeah. JetBrains Juni. Yeah. Okay, that's some hands. What are you using? Windsurf. Okay, Windsurf. Who's using Windsurf?
For the win. Yes.
Okay, okay. So the reason why we didn't show you, we didn't plan to show you Windsurf or Cursor is because we assumed everybody are using that. Apparently not. Anyway, we will show you some exotic
we'll
stuff.
figure out. So yeah, the Windsurf is great. Say it again. There's echo. It's nothing. Okay.
Okay. You ready for to show what we're gonna show?
I'm trying to fix the.
He's
the
fixing.
Wi-Fi.
Okay,
Fixing
I'll
Wi-Fi.
do all the rest.
Yep.
Okay. So our job here is limited to be the prompt typers. We're going to type the prompts and not writing any code. Maybe writing some code. This is me, Baruch Sadogurski, head of developer relations at TaxCare. We do security patches for your open source software that you run, and I will be also the official T-shirt provider for this session for awesome questions and comments and jokes and shout outs. You will get T-shirts. Might be this, might be some other designs. Up to you to choose. At Baruch everywhere on the internet. Couple of books about DevOps for Java, software development, and release in general. And the person who is fixing our internal Wi-Fi is Victor Gamov.
My name is Victor Gamov.
Yeah, that
fixing
work.
Wi-Fi.
Yes, fix Wi-Fi.
Fix Wi-Fi.
And he is a staff developer advocate at Confluent, Kafka, and all this amazing stuff. Flink as well.
Yeah, anyone using Kafka?
Everybody uses Kafka.
Okay, come talk to me about Kafka if you have any questions.
If you feel like,
if you feel
like talking about Kafka,
yes,
of all things,
exactly.
at Gamusa over the internet, also a renowned author of books about Kafka and enterprise web development. That's Java applets stuff, right?
Which one? No. It's not. It's a JavaScript. Like it's a beginning of JavaScript. Yeah.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, we're going to show you a lot of Java because that's what we do, and because this is Devoxx. Yeah, the most important slide of this talk is this. If you go to either speaking.jbaruch or speaking.gam.io or to other URLs that I will show you in a minute, you will find the slides, those which are not much, but the most important you will find the video later today already. And all the links, and that's obviously the most important part here for everything that we did. QR code for you, also down in the bottom of every slide. I promised you 2 more URLs that you can get exactly the same. The slides, the video, shownotes.taxcare.com and AI-assisted.engineering. QR code, I think, takes you to TaxCare. It's all the URLs have the same content. Okay. What we're going to do today, we are going to develop an app which reads average color from webcam and then changes the color of this light bulb. Do you see it? Do you see the color? It's kind of greenish. Now it's suddenly reddish. So the idea is that we're going to change the color from the webcam, and we have a special setup here. This cam will be for you if you have like a colorful t-shirt like red or white.
I think, Vincent, we're ready. We're happy. We can try to do this with someone from the audience if someone is brave enough to step up. Does anyone have like a very bright t-shirt? I understand
the gentleman here has a very nice
Western
blue.
Europe. There's nothing to be happy about, so that's why I'm wearing the black stuff. But
so here we go. This is.
But it's gonna be your computer. I need to be somewhere with my computer.
Okay. So you'll just ask them, come here and stand in front of his webcam.
Yeah, just give me a moment. So we can try to see if we will be able to
right
change.
Here where he stands.
Yeah, if we will be able to change the color of the light bulb programmatically.
To blue.
Yes, and we can switch on the screen so you can see what is happening here. Localhost. So we're gonna get access to my FaceTime camera. We have a preview. We have a preview?
Yes,
we have a preview.
we see your...
We are seeing the camera. So let's see if we will be able to just stand here, if we will be able to change the color to blue, maybe a little bit more, whiter. Maybe something like, does anyone have like a yellow or red or something?
Nah.
Yellow or red?
Yeah, no volunteers.
Does anyone, oh, I have a red pants. What the hell? Seriously.
Ah, here you go.
Seriously,
yes, but
Okay.
the bulb
So,
doesn't do anything.
I will just send to bulb, and it means something.
Oh,
to change
reddish.
something. Let's
Reddish.
hopefully my
Dude,
mom won't see
this is the most
Yeah.
ridiculous conference like
Yeah,
seen
and
ever.
we just started. It's just like 10 minutes in. What you should expect. So yeah, reddish. But like you can use something like if I have anyone using Instagram. In Instagram, there is also create mode. Let's see if I will be able to create color. Let's see if I can change this color of this bulb into something that is more suitable. You see, it's a purple. If I'll try to
it's
do
auto mode. Okay, it's good.
yeah, if I'll try to do different color.
Do green.
Do green. Okay, so yeah, so we'll see that it works. And 3, 2, 1, green.
Yeah, nice. All right.
So the idea of this demo is nothing to do with all this setup. I think we did this for lulz and just for fun to see like something is complex.
Physically happens that you can actually see not only on the screen.
But also something complex that you kind of sort of have idea how it works, but never done this before. So for example, you know this is the bulb. Probably this bulb have some sort of API. We can change this color programmatically. Now, you also know that in your camera, there is API that allows you to read the picture and somehow you can figure out the dominant color from this. So there's some of the things that you kind of sort of like figure out how it works, meaning that you understand how to put this in some sort of requirements, right? So your you will be able to put this in words.
And we will do it in a second. The third column here called methodology is something that we need to talk about, and we will talk about in a second. But while we will do it while what's going on? Where is my mouse?
I don't know, it's PowerPoint.
I mean, I just lost my... Okay, I need to click it all over again. Okay, never mind. Here. Yeah, so what I wanted to do is just start our tools, and then we'll talk about methodology and what it actually means and why we are doing it.
You want to do
what?
paper,
Who starts?
scissors? Yeah, who starts?
No, you can start.
Okay.
Easy. Take a chair. Take a chair.
So we're gonna show you multiple things. So the way how we structured this, and you probably saw this already in on the slides that Baruch showed, that what we're gonna be showing you different tools. We will show you two graphically based.
Yeah, no, I already explained all that.
Okay.
3. But we've already done that. But I think we still need to talk to methodologies before that because we start with...
Let's do methodologies.
Let's start methodologies.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to show you 4 approaches for AI assisted coding. The first is the vanilla one, and that's basically what vibe coding is, right? We describe what we want to do, and then we ask the tool to go ahead and do it. And we're going to do only one of that because you know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to hallucinate, nothing will work, it's going to be terrible, like just for fun. And we all obviously know how bad it is, and everybody knows by now how bad it is. So people came up with different methodologies on how to do it. One of the methodologies we call prompt-driven development. And prompt-driven development is breaking the development process into steps. And having human validation on each and every step to check that it actually does the right thing. So we will formalize the requirements. This is human language. We can all review. We can all agree if that works or not. And then we can ask to generate a plan. And it will be a high-level plan that, again, everybody can look, see, understand, and agree. Break down to tasks. Again, human readable, we can all check, and then ask AI to implement those tasks. So AI will work in a much smaller scope, and this scope will be much more controllable. We will have rollback points. If we see that some task is incorrect, we can ask the AI to go back and redo those tasks. And we have basically much more control, and AI has basically much easier time to implement it because everything is broken into small tasks.
Interesting enough. So this approach is coming from your typical day-to-day. It's very simple to explain because it starts with requirements. After that, based on the requirements, we're building a few kind of in project management, product management mostly. You're building a plan, and based on the plan, you're actually executing this plan by splitting down into the tasks. And the reason why we decide to go with this approach, because again, on the beginning of this, on the dawn of these agentic IDEs, they will try to, there was like trying to solve this type of problems multiple ways. They will try to provide you ways how you can optimize your context window for your conversation. And in some cases, even provide you with some very tricky memory things that allow you to remember what's happened before, how you chatted.
This is it, right?
Yes.
So the plan and the tasks are the artificial memory that both humans and AI can fall back to understand what's going on.
Correct. Yes. Let me check your microphone and.
What's going on with
It's green. It's green. Okay,
yes.
Perfect.
So another, So the having the plan and task written down also handles with the limitations of the context window. Obviously, as you know, LLMs are stateless, and every time we ask something of them, if we want them to remember what was discussed before, we need to send the entire conversation history with each and every request. This is done behind the scenes, but it's still obviously an issue because as the conversation goes, we send more and more until we cannot send as large conversation anymore. There are different techniques like conversation summary that we start sending instead of sending the entire thing, but generally it's a problem. Now, having written down the plan and the tasks, we can start the conversation anew every time. And then LLM will educate itself on what's going on by relying on those documents.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Sounds good? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this sounds...
You know what's missing here?
Yep.
You know, the very popular thing in developers, tests. I think in this methodology...
No, it's an implementation. We'll get to it in a second.
But
now, who does something like that? Who works with that, either out of the box or in the tool that they are using? For example, Junie automatically generates tasks. So if you're using Junie, you're using something like that.
Okay, a few people.
Okay.
Yeah, when you mentioned Junie, probably. Because you mentioned Junie.
Yeah.
And so the cool thing about everything that we will be talking about, these methodologies, it can be translated to the different IDs, so it really doesn't matter what you use today. Hopefully after this presentation, you will be able to quickly migrate between different tools and find the best, what works for you.
Now, there is one problem with prompt-driven design.
Which one?
How do we know that the code that was eventually written by the model adheres to the spec that we came up with?
Manual testing somehow, test the 1,000 lines that model generated and go read the code. Code reviews, maybe?
Yep. Those are LLMs. So you probably remember this saying about monkeys with infinite number of monkeys, given infinite number of typewriters, and infinite time will eventually produce Shakespeare. LLMs is exactly that. They are a little bit more skewed towards producing Shakespeare and not just random text, but eventually those are non-deterministic stochastic systems that came up with something that is relatively close to what we asked them to. And instead of typewriters, they have GPUs, but as we all know, we cannot really trust them. And this is why we came up with a slight improvement on the prompt-driven design methodology, which is called the intent integrity chain. The intent integrity chain, the purpose of it is to guarantee that we know exactly that what is implemented in the end in the code is exactly what we asked in the beginning in the original prompt. That was our intent. I have a different conference talk about intent integrity chain that you can obviously find in the show notes going to shownotes.taxcare.com. But to summarize the methodology, it looks something like that. We start with formalizing the requirements, and then we ask LLM to write machine parsable specs. It can be in any format that we can read as humans and machine can understand and parse. For example, Cucumber Gherkin specs is a good example of something like that. And then we generate tests out of those specs. Now, here is the magical link. Because the specs are human understandable, we can read it and say, yes, the specs are exactly what was our intent. But they're also machine parsable, so we can generate tests out of the specs. We can actually be sure that the tests are a representation of our intent. And once we have that, you know what happens. We have test-driven development all the way down, and once we have the tests, we can ask LLM to iterate until the code passes the tests. Once we did that, we have a verifiable guarantee that the code represents our intent. And this is obviously priceless. We're going to show you this methodology as well. So basically, we have software definition documents that are the prompt, and then LLM creates the spec, and then everybody read the spec and approve that that's exactly what we need. The tests are generated out of specs. We're still on the same page. Tests are representation of what we asked, and then LLM implements the tests until they pass. This is the idea. So those are the two methodologies. I'm going to show you that we mention one more here. So ICC intents integrity check, chain PDD for prompt-driven development, vanilla, as I mentioned, no methodology, just repeat and do your best. And then there is one more, and that's Kiro. So Kiro has something like some kind of a, it's probably more PDD than prompt-driven development than intent integrity check built into the tool. It's called spec-driven development in their
you will show this.
Yeah, in their terms, but since it's built in, we're going to use that as is. All right. Our stack.
Any questions, concerns about these two methodologies, and maybe there's something that you wanted to see particularly? Maybe, I don't know.
Get a T-shirt, maybe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
repeat question.
Yeah, so the question was, wouldn't it be nice to combine both methodologies, the prompt-driven development and the
good news is they are kind of sort of.
They are combined, yes. So intent integrity chain is evolved prompt-driven development, so it basically incorporates it as well. The tasks in intent integrity chain, the plan and the tasks are in between the software definition documents and the specs. So the specs are actually the action items, basically.
And the task action item from PDD. So
yeah, exactly. Yep. So they are combined kind of by definition. Okay. Yes.
Why did you choose this combination from agent model?
Oh, that's a great question. I love it. Thank you. So the question was, how did we come up with this table? Very, very simple process. Model, we really love Sonnet 4.5. So that would be our default unless we want to show you something else. So VS Code Copilot has access to Grow Code Fast 1. We figured you will be interested to see how it fares. So this is why we will do it here. Codex from OpenAI obviously works with Codex models. This is why
OpenAI,
Codex will show ChatGPT GPT-5 Codex. And local models are so miserable that we really felt bad.
Don't spoil
Yeah,
the
so
excitement.
yeah, so we really felt bad to make them work too hard. So this is why we asked them to do the bare minimum, which is vanilla vibe coding.
I guess the people might have a question why their favorite model is not here. So that's probably where the question coming from.
Okay, so what is your favorite model?
Which one?
Gwen.
Okay.
We tried Gwen.
We'll
yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
this. So the point about the anthropic model. So we use this with Rage, and somehow they managed to. They trying to the developers of the models, and they're trying to kind of like get ahead of us, but they can't. So last time we did this presentation, it was like also short, and the OpenAI released their like a GPT-4o model, and they were saying it's great for coding. And what we have to do, we just like jump this immediately and show how it works. So Sonnet 4.4 was also released just a couple weeks ago. So we picking up what is the most advanced in our opinion. Plus, there's definitely the matter of taste. Matter of taste. If you prefer to suffer, you can use different models. If you prefer to be productive, just use these models. It's just like we already been through this. So we're here to share this, so you would not make this same mistakes.
I think the only one that is kind of missing from the big ones and the hype ones will be Gemini.
There would be Google people in this conference. They will be talking about this stuff. So we're not paid, we're not affiliated. So we picked up something that works for us, and we want to share this experience with you folks. And so that's
like pretty much. Okay, you ready to roll?
Yeah. Like what we started with.
What do you want to start with?
Yeah.
You want to start with Claude Code? You want to start with Juni? What do you want to start
I'm going to start with Juni probably.
With Juni.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
It would be easier thing to start with, and let me see if we're here.
Oh no, sorry, wrong button.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So the couple of things how we're going to start. So every repository we're going to share this code. You can apply this to yourself. We'll include this methodology documents. It's going to be the same.
It's the same repository, right? So maybe show it on GitHub if you want to.
Yes, and if I go to just close this here, J Baruch. And we're gonna go to repository called too many repositories.
Yeah, the template. Yep. So this is a template repository that we create copies of for different tools. And the template repository has exactly two things. It has the methodologies explained, that the model is going to learn about methodology that they need to work with, and it has requirement 3. It has requirements document, which describes what I'm going to do, what Victor told you about how we connect it to Lightbulb and all this stuff, and it has sample prompts that we are going to copy paste, and they will be exactly the same.
Yeah.
The entire idea of this repository is to provide for us the exactly same starting point for demos, so you will be sure that what we are showing you is not tailored in any way to a specific IDE to get it to give it an advantage.
Yes. So the idea would be we have a methodology and we have requirements. So we're gonna first of all, every step we're gonna be doing is to generate IDE specific rules or guides or whatever.
Yes.
Instructions. So I'm gonna be using Juni here, and I'm running this with the IntelliJ idea is this Ultimate Edition, blah blah blah. So the Juni would look something like this. That's the companion. Don't be confused with Juni and there's AI
Assistant.
AI
Assistant.
AI assistant, obviously, yeah. AI assistant tool. We're not gonna use the AI assistant in this particular case. We are focused on this agentic coding. Now, so the prompt, there will be 2 prompts to simplify things. And again, the rest of the stuff would be taken care of by LLM understanding requirements very well, understanding our method very well. So the prompt would say, okay, generate Juni GUI guidelines. That's the one of the predefined prompts that you have from Juni, very similar to what they say in their predefined document, but we adopted this to our particular use case. So we're not gonna do with this. Next thing is that read the docs. So we do have this documentation that explains this methodology. It's again nothing to do with language. It's just the way how it's explained in this document. There would be a few steps that needs to be executed, and essentially, at the very end, we will have the couple artifacts that we're expecting this system to generate. So based on the requirements, we want to have this like user stories. It's kind of like a tailored requirements that will be turned into plan, and based on the plan, we will generate the tasks. So that's kind of like is going to be a process that IntelliJ IDEA would go. So I will go ahead and copy this prompt here, and it will start working. So for the next step, so once this will be generated, this requirements would be generated. We will see how we can move forward. Another thing that you can see here, what the heck is this context 7, Baruch? What is
Yes.
What, is it like a what we doing?
That's a great question, and switch back to me, and we are going to talk about context 7. Where are they? Here they are. Yes, sir. Yes. So we spoke about models. We're going to speak about YOLO mode in a second. Now let's talk about something else. So MCP integration. Who knows what MCP is, what it stands for? Okay, excellent. Hopefully,
Mission Control Protocol.
yes.
Missile
Control Protocol,
Yeah.
or medical something also.
Yeah.
Convention protocol something. Yeah. Okay, so MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and the idea is how a model knows how to use Spring Boot. So there are different options.
You want to go a little bit deeper on this idea? It's not necessarily about Spring Boot.
I'm starting with Spring Boot as
Okay.
a practical example.
Okay.
So there are a couple of ways for a model to know how to use Spring Boot. The first is pre-trained model knowledge.
Correct.
Probably Spring Boot documentation were a part of the pre-trained knowledge, and it knows something about it.
Do you know what's the P in GPT stands for?
Pre-train?
I'm trying to interact with audience. I'm trying to keep them awake because we're just only the 32 minutes in.
That's okay. Yeah, so basically it's a part of their knowledge from the earlier days when it learned stuff, right? It's not great. It's not great because it's outdated and because pre-training has a lot of stuff that is not necessarily correct. Okay? We can ask model to do general web search. Maybe it will find the right documentation, but also maybe not. It might find blog posts which are not exactly accurate. It might find outdated information for older versions and what's not. So we can do better. We can instruct the model to actually read the manual, to go and make sure that it reads the right documentation from the source. We'll show you in a second how. How the model can test front end or web. It can say, you know what, take a look at what I generated and tell me what you think. And that's kind of the default mode. We can ask it to actually analyze the components that are generated by analyzing the live website that it built, or we can instruct the model to physically look at the UI and see what's wrong. How this is done? This is done by a concept called tooling integration that the modern tools, like all the tools that we are going to show you, are capable of, and tools can be local or remote. Remote tools are exactly what Model Context Protocol is. It's basically the ability to ask within our prompt to go and use some third-party tool. And we're going to do it for something that is called Context 7, and that's the MCP that exposes documentation for pretty much any technical library in the world to our LLMs, and this is how our LLMs will know how to write Spring Boot correctly, how to integrate with the smart light bulb correctly, and how to access webcam in the browser correctly, for example.
So essentially, that's every time when you in the past were struggling with telling this like damn Cursor or Windsurf to not change dependency of your libraries. Anyone saw this? Like when you try to fix something, it just goes back and checks dependency with the Spring Boot 2.5, for example. And the way how we putting this also guardrails or like intentions that this tool needs to be used all the time. Well, hopefully this will help you in the future because it's helped enormously. When
Context 7 is our favorite MCP of all times. There is nothing like it, and we're just huge fans.
Maybe there's one that is
There
learned
are.
this week.
No, there are a lot, but still we like this one because it's great.
I basically install it to any tool, and this is my kind of like the smoke test for any tool that I'm evaluating, like how good this would be working with one particular library.
Where is my Shelly? Shelly here. Right. So it has documentation of everything, like Spring Boot. Obviously, it has it, right? Here you go, Spring Boot. But also, absolutely obscure stuff. The Shelly, anyone heard about Shelly Smart Home? Like, yeah, there are a couple of ends. Good job, folks, because we didn't before we started that. And then we found it, and we're like, oh, this is very nice.
Yeah.
It has API, and
I just like looking something that I can bring the conference and don't need to have a hub or something like that. Usually, all these like devices might have a hub. It just connects to Wi-Fi and has IP address, has REST interface.
It's amazing for what we need.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And you saw how it works. Just a simple HTML call.
Now,
HTTP call.
Now, obviously, Context 7 had no idea what Shelly is. But now it actually does. So it's right here. It's the Shelly API docs. And somehow it got here a month ago. How did it get here a month ago? Well, very simple. Everybody, including yours truly, can just go and add whatever libraries they need to Context 7. Next thing you know, after the processing is done, your LLM knows how to find exactly the right documentation. And this is absolutely mind-blowing. This is like, as I mentioned, favorite MCP of all times. It uses GitHub URL. Shelly documentation is not on GitHub, but it also uses something that is called llm.txt, and this is modeled.
You can show the example.
This is modeled after robots.txt for web crawlers, but for LLMs. If the website has such a file, it can use that as well. Yeah. Or it can just parse any website for documentation and code snippets. And now it is added to configuration and code snippets, and you can see that it found almost 2,000 code snippets in Shelly documentation, and you can show them right here. And what's much more important is that our tool now can find it. Now, the next question is, how do we expose MCPs to our models? And there are obviously the canonical ways of, you can go to, for example, Playwright MCP here. And that's another MCP that we really, really like. Let me make it larger here. That's another MCP that we really, really like. This one is from Microsoft. And what it does is it can fire up a browser that our model can interact with. It can analyze the document object model. It can see the console with all the errors. And even more exciting, it can take screenshots of the UI.
Yeah, was pretty cool.
And then see that something is wrong. So this is how we're actually going to test our UI using the Playwright MCP. And the reason I'm here is that I want to show you the zoo that is currently the ways to add MCP servers to different tools. Right? So you can see here a list of how to add MCP to different tools. This is how we add it to Codex. This is how to add it to Cursor. They're all different. This is how you call it to Cloud Desktop. This is how you add it to Cloud Code. All right, there are different commands. There are some integrations with direct buttons. Some of them are what it is. This is, I think, TOML. Some of them are YAML. Some of them are JSON. And it's just such a mess, right? Wrap.
By the end of
here
the
you
day,
go.
by the end of
JSON.
the day, it just works in a sense that different tools would know how to interact with this, because MCP is a standard way.
I'm building towards something.
Oh shit.
Yeah. All right. So the way to make it a little bit easier for you is using an abstraction layer for all your MCP servers. And there is a tool that does that, and it's called suddenly, unexpectedly, Docker Desktop. You never thought. Docker Desktop has a very nice feature that is called MCP Toolkit. It's right here. It's in beta. And the thing with it is that you can add MCP servers from the catalog, and then Docker Desktop will expose a single MCP server with all the tools for in your tool. So I added here Context 7, which has 2 tools, and a GitHub MCP that has 101, and then Playwright that has additional 21. So we're looking at 124 tools here. And then when I'm going to my IDE and set up an MCP server, I only need to set up one, and then I have 124 all the tools connected within one MCP server. This simplifies the management and the setup dramatically, and this is very, very useful. Now, the reason why we talk about MCP servers, that you will see that in our prompts and rules, we constantly insist on using Context 7,
Yes.
and this is what you were showing in Juni. Did we lose anything?
We lost the recording, so
Not
but
good.
we do have a recording here. So
Not good.
yeah, so it looks like the out of storage. Let me quickly show you what is happening here. So on the Juni side of things, two things happen. So first thing is that I need a little bit of juice, please.
That was called not prepared speakers. Just
Yes.
saying.
Yes. So I created these guidelines, and it spits out the Juni specific guidelines that will be stored inside a Juni MD. So this will it has parsed and well understood methodology for Juni. Also, it understood that there is a how to consult with MCP. So it will know what kind of tools to call, what kind of functions, and the things that Baruch already showed you. Get library docs. Basically, you're requesting what kind of framework, and library ID will give you information about the library.
That's the 2 commands that Context 7 has, as you saw previously.
Yeah, and based on this, I said, okay, so now we do have a prompt that says build the application based on methodology. We do have requirements. We do have guidelines. So in this case, I don't need to specify these guidelines because they would be used. What's the word? Implicitly. So the Juni will be getting these guidelines and will be using bits of this in order to communicate with LLM. And now, as you can see here, that's what Baruch was talking about. It has this planning feature that you always can see what is the reasoning, what's the thought process of Juni. So in this case, Juni also will include some. It's not just like a dumb client that will be simply talking to LLM. It actually knows how to converse, how to phrase the question. So in the very beginning, Baruch said phrase that everything would be boils down to the system prompt, and essentially system prompt is something that how you would represent, like how this tool, this agent will represent itself for LLM, and how it will keep this memory, keep the context. Now, so in this case, it builds my my application. It builds these 3 things. It builds my plan. It has some priorities. It has foundation and configuration, backend APIs, front-end validation, and polish. Anyone speaking Polish here? All right. Tough crowd.
Different conference.
Yes, tough crowd. Yes. And after that, I do have this tasks, that's the final artifacts that we're going to be using in our PDD. And as you can see here, the task here will have a linkage or like link to our plan. So we can have how one particular element of our plan would be linked to this, and after that it will go the things. Another interesting thing is that in our methodology we do have this important flow where we specify, where is it? It has this let me show you with this. So it will be stopping here in this particular case, this window on the junior side. It's actually decision what it needs to make. So it's asking something. So in documentation we send, like, in order you to not get confused and try to find this bulb, I'll give you IP address. Like, we'll figure out of this, discover after. I'll give you IP address. You need to stop because you don't know this, and you will add this to application properties. And next thing is that is I need to get like a explicit
the approval.
go ahead.
That's our approval gates.
Yes.
Remember, we look at what it does and then we say if it's good or not good to continue.
Yeah. So remember, when you're working with like junior developer or like mid developer, they can come up and you give them a specification and they start building things. So let's go and build things. But you ask them to, before you start building things, just like figure out what we need, bring this plan, and we can say yes, we go ahead, or no, we're not going ahead. And this is what this plan provides: what kind of files would be created, what kind of classes would be created, and most importantly, also it always will talk to context 7 in order to get the fresh API. So in this case, it would be using REST client instead of REST template, and things like that. And also it will read a little bit about documentation, blah, blah, blah. Again, plan it provides. And what I said, this was my response. I said, here's the IP address, and please go ahead. So it started building something. So I'm expecting this application will be runnable in few moments. Actually, we can try to see what is happening right now. So it says what I've built. At the end of this task, it stops because we said like every stop we need to validate if it's actually that does what you did. So what I built, I implemented the RGB control application flow, blah, 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 created step 1 to 3 artifacts. So artifacts are created, have a task, we have a plans, we have requirements, and we slightly modified requirements in order to them to look like a user story. So instead of saying like, I want this app to be, there's more like a user story style. So as a presenter, I want the app to use my webcam and show live color preview so I can switch color and it will be sent to the bulb. So that's user stories. Some of the functional requirements would be inherited from the user story into our plan and our tasks. Now, and at the end, what we see here, now number of requirements, doc plan, next step. So in the next step, it will say like, okay, so what we're going to be doing next. And it has notes and limitations. This is where I see we might have some problems. It's too smart now. So in this particular case, it says that Shelly can use call uses Gen 2 RPC, and this is not what I actually expected because I wanted to use something simple, not do with the gRPC and RPC style. So I want to do something like a get. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if I will be able to influence to this one.
Yeah, I'm ready to
quickly
start.
switch. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Okay, so you saw Junie. Now we're going to see 2 more IDEs, and then we are going to switch to command line tools. The first IDE that I'm going to show you, we're going to kick off the process, and then continue from there, will be Visual Studio Code. I'm using Visual Studio Code Insiders, which is a bleeding edge because you deserve nothing less. And this is again the same template repository that we spoke about that has the methodology. It has the prompts that we're going to use, and basically that's all, and the requirements, right? So I have a lot of stuff. How do I do do not disturb here, right? Yes. So here is the agent mode that we have, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this little control panel here because it is important. So first of all, what do we do here? We have three options of agent, ask, and edit. Edit works more like inline. We can ask for specific edits on some code or a class or a file. Ask is chatting without doing any changes. We are obviously using agent because this is all what this talk is about. We can select really tons of models for Visual Studio Code, and I promised to show you how Grok Fast is doing, especially comparing to the Sonnet 4.5 that we would select by default. So we're going to do it on Grok. This is the list of my MCP servers. They are all of my MCP tools. They are all here. That's 199 because except of our MCP servers, it also has a bunch of built-in tools which also add to this number of 123 that we had from Docker Desktop. It says that 199 is too much. We need to limit it to 128. It's okay for now.
Can you explain why it's too much?
So basically, the model needs to pick a tool for every request, especially when we instruct it to do something, and it's just overwhelmed with the number of options that it can have. So we see degradation of performance the more tools we add because there is too much choice. We can do even voice mode. I'm going to copy paste prompts, so we're not going to use it, but we can start a voice chat and not even type prompts in it, which is like another level of vibe coding. And there is this. This is very interesting. This is a delegation to CodePilot coding agent, and as a bonus to the 6 tools that we already mentioned, we're going to do that as well. What it's going to do is going to move the development to the cloud, namely to GitHub, namely to GitHub Actions. It will do everything that we do here in code, but in the cloud and asynchronous, which is very cool. All right, let's get this party started. So I have here 2 prompts as promised. The first is this one: generate steering or requirements or prompts docs. For ChatGPT, it's for VS Code, it's called Copilot instruction. So generate copilots using intent integrity chain, right? And use the requirements for creating separate front-end and back-end documents. Modern IDEs can have more than one instructions document. There might be a main one that describes your general best practices, but you also might have separate files. For example, I ask it to do separate docs from front-end and back-end. Because we are going to have back-end in Java, we have some standards of how to do Java development, and front-end will be whatever JavaScript framework it will select. It has completely different coding standards. So we can have different instructions, and they will be activated based on directory structure or file extensions, right? Now let's talk about AgentsMD. AgentsMD is an attempt of OpenAI to standardize those instructions.
It's attempt from community, actually. You know, some dude in community just figured out and he built the site, and after that everyone was, you know.
But it's mostly driven from what I saw by OpenAI.
Okay.
So the idea is like, just a second. The idea is every IDE has its own. Not ID, every tool has its own way to provide instructions. Let's try and standardize it. So AgentsMD allegedly will be, if it picks up, a file that all the tools understand, and then we obviously can share it.
It
For
kind
now,
of makes sense because it's still text. We're not using any proprietary things, and it's just a matter of the agent tool to properly infer this.
There are some downsides. First of all, it's one file, while now every tool can have multiple files, as I just explained. So that's kind of limits it. but maybe someday it will become standard. It will be nice. For now, I just ask it to generate this file as well, in case my current tool, which is Visual Studio Install, understands it. If not, no harm done, because I also ask for Copilot instructions, which I know will work. And again, mandatory highlight, always consult context 7 before writing any code. You don't know anything about any library or API. Never rely on pre-trained information, never search in other places, and never hallucinate or assume. All the technical knowledge must come from context 7 MCP. All right, so this will be our prompt. Now, there are one more thing that I want to show you. I can use in most of the tools either a hash. Sorry, question first. Yes. There is okay, we'll fix it in a second, because this is what I'm going to show you. There are, but thank you, T-shirt, definitely. Someone is not asleep. Good job. All right. So most of those tools and IDEs have integration with different stuff within this window. You can activate this integration either by @ symbol or by hash symbol, and they sometimes do different things. So in Visual Studio, hash means
context.
Place. It can be a file. For example, I want to point to the methodology to Internet Integrity Chain MD. Now, it's not just go ahead and look for a file. We provide the file that needs to be looked at. The same with requirements. Where is my requirements? Requirements here, right? So that makes it much easier for the model to find what we are talking about. Another option that I can do is, it works. Live coded. Junior.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to talk about it in a second. Another one that I can do is @. Why I don't see anything in @? I should see @. I don't know what happened. Oh, let me do this. Yes. Okay. Is talk to someone, talk to something. I can ask my model to talk to my workspace. This will mean analyze the entire workspace before you do something. Or I can say, talk to GitHub, and then point it to an issue or a pull request. Or I can say, talk to MCP server. Where was it? MCP? I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't work. But yeah, you see, there is context, extension, and commands. And the commands are the tooling, right? So for example, all the MCP stuff. I can say MCP and then instruct it to do something. So
interesting enough, this tooling is not limited by whatever provided by the Copilot. It's API
MCP.
that available, not necessarily MCP. You can have a plugins that have extensions for the Copilot, and they can bring the tool. So we built our extension for Kafka that also can talk to Copilot through @confluent or /confluent commands, and you can tell the Copilot to go directly to this tool.
So now we can see that we have something in the context. We have the two files that we pointed, and we have the rules prompt, that the file that is open now, which we don't really need, but okay. And we can add more stuff. For example, we can add screenshots, we can add images or whatever. All right, so let's run this. We're running on Grok, and this is good. And here we go. So now it will generate the rules. Now, once it generates the rules, we can go ahead and look at the other prompt. And this is the prompt for actually building our application, right? So this is build, control up, following the specifications we're going to replace the file, follow the methodology we're going to, and defined in the not steering rules in the instructions, and key requirements. Follow all specifications, adhere to the technology stack, respect out-of-scope section, follow file generation order provided, avoid common pitfalls, data. And as Victor mentioned previously, I specifically instruct it to stop and ask me for IP instead of trying to test IP that it hallucinated, which will probably won't work unless it hallucinated the right IP,
Yeah,
which is slight chance, but not really.
Out of what?
Yeah. Okay, so you can see here that all the files are created. It created Copilot instructions, and this is the rules for Copilot. And you can see here the exact phases that we spoke about in our intent integrity chain part of the presentation, right? And then a highlight for that as well. And it created agents MD, which also goes into all the details about intent integrity chain.
Yeah.
And it created the front end and the back end. This is the back end. I don't see activation rules here. That's the only thing that I miss.
So the rules and the things that we have in our generated setting, or you can build this yourself. It is something that is important for not polluting your context window, because sometimes you have some rules that will apply for everything, conceptually, but there's some rules that will be specifically for Java. And no reason, if the LLM or the agent will modify in the non-Java files, no reason to bring this text with the context and pushing things around. So that's why activation rules, the specific to IDE, they have right now different syntax to implement this.
Yeah. Again, it can be like YAML flags. It can be what it's called, like wildcards for file names. Glob
Pattern. So
yeah,
it's kind of like
for,
a star
yeah,
star
exactly.
Java.
Yeah.
It's called glob.
For file names and what's not. So I told it to go and check the VS Code on how to do it, and we have some changes.
While you do, can I show?
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
So what has happened while we were presenting another IDE? So Juni basically done with only few additions from my side. So with the Context 7, it became like too smart. So it will went and start using latest and greatest API. So it will be using API number 2, which was not enabled on this particular device. And only thing that I mentioned here is my request, and I said, look, there is something that I need you to do. Use simple API /color get for API instead of RPC. So, and again, because we put these guardrails and it didn't just start writing code, it first of all created the, for me, the question saying, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my kind of like response plan. This is what I'm planning to implement here. I'm sorry, the UI is still kind of like janky. It says, what I'm gonna do, there's new requirement, I will update this. I will say that our service needs to be talking to this REST endpoint. We will use this one. What I need from you. Confirm as a human. Please, dear human, confirm that bulb firmware we're using Gen 1. We're gonna use same IP address, and we're gonna do yes, same IP address. Go ahead. So I'm fine with this. So it went ahead again, went back to context 7, because I tell it to every time check, because don't hallucinate, don't try to imagine things. And after that, they say, okay, so that's done. And how to run, how to test, put the IP address, go to website, and it works. The way how it works right now, I have a virtual camera that just simply changes color so I can test this quickly. But we can always do the...
Select the webcam.
Yeah, so let me... It will ask to select the webcam. We're going to go with FaceTime. This is us. Trying to red pants. Anyone has a yellow T-shirt? You want to try this? No, like just.
I'm not saying yellow T-shirts.
No, anyone. And we kind of.
Yeah, no, I have some yellow.
Fashionably black.
Black.
Let's see.
Yes. No, I have some yellow.
No? Yeah. Yellow. So that's gonna be weird. Closer to.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Just
it was yellow.
Yeah. Wait it. More. Closer.
There we go.
Yeah,
it's yellow. Yeah. It's absolutely yellow.
So basically, Juni did this in what? I don't know, like 15 minutes. And Spring Boot, the JavaScript. I'm Java guy. I'm not JavaScript guy.
You wrote a book about JavaScript.
I know. Use some obscure library that will read the data from webcam and after that turn it into some numbers. Call API that I don't know how to call. I think it's a plus, at least. Kind of
absolutely. Like, that's a win. That's a win.
Juni with this. And Juni is, if you're in the IntelliJ space, a couple things that Baruch showed also available in Juni. Things especially with models. In Juni, you can select from. Oh man, it done this. I didn't switch back to Sonnet 4.5.
Oh, it does it for
It did
wow.
this in GPT-5.
So we showed you another model. You
Yeah,
got the,
so it did this in
GPT-5.
GPT-5. I was intended to use 4.5, but by default it was GPT-5. And also inside the Juni, I can select the MCP server. So Juni knows how to call this MCP server. Probably I just need to replace it now with the Docker one because it's my next favorite. So in this case, I will go ahead instead of this. I can say
Switch back.
yeah.
All right.
I'll switch back.
And we are ready here to actually run. So first of all, I started a new conversation. Why? Because we generated the rules. There is nothing of the context that we need from a previous conversation. And when that's the case, we prefer new conversation with an empty context window. So I started a new chat, and then I just pasted the prompt that we saw earlier, and it's still in Grok 1, and we will see what it will do. So we will let it run, and while it starts, I'm going to show you Kiro.
So we already have 1-1, right? So
yeah, so we saw Juni, Visual Studio Code with Copilot is running, and now it's time to talk about Kiro.
yeah, back
No, it's intentional. So this is how Kiro looks like, and it looks exactly like Visual Studio Code because yes, it worked.
it just worked.
Yeah, so the question is,
it's a rule of
we
yeah,
accidentally used
unintentional consequences.
Yes, we accidentally used ChatGPT 5 how it was. You just saw how it was. It wrote the entire app in 15 minutes.
And it wrote the entire app. It was very smart to converse, very smart to have a conversation, bring all these things. So it's great.
We are positively surprised.
Positively surprised. It's actually great. This is pretty cool. Again, this is not necessarily the model. Model obviously is the kind of like a king or queen
part
here, but it's also again very important what kind of system prompt JetBrains folks put, and also PDD is a great methodology. I think it's just like
okay, yeah,
helps to build.
Let's talk about Kiro. So the interesting part, the magic in Kiro, and what you see here is Visual Studio Code clone, which is most of them, is this. Now you can see here a special panel with 3 parts: specs, agent hooks, and 4 parts. And agent steering and MCP servers. This is kind of the secret sauce of Kiro. Specs are the PDD/IIC methodology, which is baked into the tool, and we're going to take advantage of it in a second. Agent hooks are tasks that you can program to trigger in some point of time. And we are going to use those hooks to improve even further of the spec-driven design of Kiro. Agent steering are the exact rules, and we're going to generate some steering docs right now, and the MCP servers we already spoke about. Now, what you can see here when you open an open project is that Kiro really invites you to generate steering docs. What is going to happen when I type this button? It will going to automatically start a prompt with generate steering docs. Now we want to do something better. We want to do steering docs which are based on our methodology and has the backend and the frontend part separately. So again, that's exactly the same prompt that I'm going to ask for. That's a wrong prompt. Didn't I copy it? Apparently I did not. That are going to do the right thing. Build here. Generate steering docs. Use again hash for files, and you can see here. So Kiro use only hash. There is no @. And but again, you have tons of options. You can search for files. You can ask to converse with the entire code base, exactly as we saw there. You can ask to search for particular docs. This is kind of out of the box context 7, but it's actually it obviously much more tedious because you need to provide which docs you want to consult every time. And then you can do stuff like obviously ask for open a terminal and talk reference to currently open file and reference a specific tool in an MCP. So we need a file and methodology, intent, integrity chain. Here's our file for general methodology. Use what did I want here? Requirements. Use requirements MD to create separate front-end and back-end documents. And we're using Sonnet 1.5 and we are doing that. Now it will generate the steering docs, and then we will put the magic to the test and see how it works, right? So I will create steering docs, and again it knows exactly what steering docs are, and you can see that it will appear here. Here, you see agent steering. Now, that will be a bunch of different docs. What happens, in fact, is that there is a .kiro directory, and it created a steering subdirectory, and then it just opens here. This will be inclusion always. This is the automatic activation. And we have backend Java Spring. Again, activation will be
Globe.
Everything Java, POM XML, application properties, and application YAML, and front-end vanilla JS will be HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, which is exactly what we wanted, right? So I think it's done, almost done. Here, created files. This will be okay, done. Okay, perfect. Accept all changes. Now they're automatically accepted because you live only once. There is a flag, means YOLO, go for it, accept all the changes, we're good. Obviously that's the mode that we're working in. Duh. Okay, so now I will do new session. And as opposite to like a normal vibing, this is what we're going to do. This time, for the main app, we're going to do spec. Plan first, then build. Great for thinking through features in depth, project needed come from planning, building features in a structured way. That's exactly what we want. That's the methodology that is baked into Kiro. Now, what we're going to paste here is our main prompt. That's a steering doc. Where is our main prompt? Main prompt. Prompt.
Get started.
Yeah, again, start prompt. Here I go. Right. So we're going to do this. Okay. Build control app. Specifications in requirements. Follow the methodology. Yep. No. Intent, integrity chain methodology, key requirements, out of scope, and ask for Shelly bulb IP. Okay, now this, as I mentioned, this is going to be spec. Now, what is going to happen now is that if we look here, we will start to see specs coming. Again, that will be just files in .kiro folder that will be specifically formatted for Kiro to understand it and put it here in specs. Let's see what's going on. Okay, it's checking documentation, and now it starts with what did I do? Kiro wasn't supposed to be ICC.
It was supposed to be doing
the entire thing. Sorry,
yeah.
My mistake. So the entire thing of Kiro that we wanted to show the spec as it is in Kiro, not overwrite the rules with
You can
ICC.
do step back, and I can switch to...
Yeah, switch. I'm going to clean up, and we're going to try it in a second.
So now you see already few few UI-based technologies. Now we're gonna switch a little bit gears, and we'll talk a little bit about CLI tools. Anyone like my console friends, anyone who lives in Despise, like Visual Studio Code and all the graphic interfaces like VI, Emacs, SED. That's how you feel when you're using like a set. Anyway, so we're gonna be using this Claude Code, which is a command line agent that is coming from directly from Anthropic, and it's already installed. And I run this in my directory where I will be having the Claude Code. Next step for this, and again here I'm just using the Windsurf as a dumb editor. I'm not going to do anything in here. So I would tell it to create a Claude MD docs. So one of the things that you can do this, you can go and try to create this Claude MD automatically. So let Claude to go and figure out what is going on here. But since in this directory we don't have much, and we want to have some sort of structure, so I also will be try to apply this PDD idea into this into using this with Claude. So in this case, instead of init, I will be using the prompt. Fixed lint errors, nice. We're gonna use the same thing. So we're gonna use the Claude Code. We're gonna use this prompt-driven development as our general methodology. We're gonna use our requirements MD, and I'm not gonna create the agents because it will confuse out of it. So Claude MD. And also I'm telling this use MCP server. So when I was telling that I'm going and installing MCP servers and testing MCP servers to edit tools, I was not joking. And as you can see here, MCP here is already pre-configured. In the Claude, I do have a command /MCP that shows whatever is configured. The way how I can do this, I can do Claude MCP add, and adding this particular server. I could add this through command as well. Also, I do have this Docker Docker gateway also running, but I will be using directly. I will be talking directly to MCP server through remote system. Now, with this, I'm gonna go and take this prompt. I'm gonna go and tell it to go ahead. And now it will start doing the things. Everything was going to happen on the in the console. It has ability to call tools that is built inside Claude Code, and the model, which is Sonnet 4.5, would know how to express this intent. So this cool tool will call read file, run bash command, and so far and so on. So we'll give it a few moments. You ready?
Yeah. So. I removed the thing that it was based on intent integrity chain. I apologize. The idea of Kiro was to show you what Kiro knows about methodology and not dictating our methodologies to it. So my new request for steering docs was absolutely lacking any mention of any methodology. I just said you do you, just use the requirements. And then it created backend, frontend, and agents without any methodology here in our steering instructions. And you can see here that we have two agent steering documents that really have like the same idea without any methodology. So now it's done, it's created it, and it's great. And now I'm going to create a new spec, as we mentioned, with the prompt, with our general prompt, which is getting started here, without any methodology mentioned. So again, I'm going to in specification with requirements. Still, the requirements are valid. Follow methodology we don't need, right? Key requirements, read all specifications in requirements, adhere to technology stack and constraints, respect autoscope, full file generation, avoid common film. Okay, this is good. No hard-coded methodology at all. We are doing spec, and let's see what is going to happen now. This is now it's going to be, I'll help you to create a spec. Since you provided requirements, I will use it as a foundation to create a proper spec following the workflow. This is good. It starts by reading the creating requirements in Git. Coincidentally, no pun intended, it also created a file called requirements, but it created it inside Kiro specs. Kiro specs, this is the name of the app, and here is the requirements document that as Kiro understand it. And this is the first step of Kiro process, the 3 steps Kiro process: requirements, design, and task list. You can see it right here. Now, we can refine those requirements that we don't like them in any way we want to do. We can edit it here and then type refine. We can ask follow-up prompts to refine stuff, etc., etc. Now, if we go here into the Kiro view, we will see that now we actually have a list of specs. This will be a list of our projects that are spec driven development by Kiro. And this is ours, and it will bring us out here. Now, the requirements are basically the rephrase of our requirements, but in a way of user stories, which is great because you remember user stories are human readable but machine parsable, and we can see here a very strict format of when and then if, and it's basically almost the spec that Visual Studio is generating for us as we speak. We're going to switch to it in a second, check how it is doing. Okay, now once we agree on the requirements, we can hit a button here and say move to design phase, and it will then create a detailed design and then tasks. Now, you know what I miss here, because I explained to you how intent integrity chain works. I miss tests. I miss the test-driven design development that we ended up with in intent integrity chain to guarantee that the application will do what we want. Now, the beauty of Kiro that I can actually add this particular feature into this methodology, and I can do it with the agent hooks. Now, I have a prompt that will do exactly that. The way we create hooks is by using AI. And it
Why
will,
not?
Of course,
Yes.
by using prompt. And this is what I asked for it. When tasks file is created, and you already know how the steps are going, right? So it has the requirements, then it will have a design, and we can actually start working on design. It will have a design, and eventually it will have tasks. Now, what I'm saying is, once you got into tasks, go back to the requirements document, read the design from the design document, and then create tests from each and every use case in the requirements based on the design. And then we will make sure that the tests are passing, right? The test should serve an executable specifications that guide implementation and turn green features as we build. Now, we can do that and create a new hook. Now, it's working, so we can do it asynchronously. We can just go here and say we want a new hook and create an agent hook, create a curse, prompt is sent to agent, Kiro makes updates. Describe hooks used in natural language is good that we have it ready when task MD is created, and we can create this hook. So now we actually added test-driven development to already very robust spec-driven methodology of Kiro. Now, obviously, the hooks can be anything, right? You can do deployment hooks, you can do testing hooks, you can do validation, you can do email approvals, you do you. This is very powerful feature that is also very well implemented because how easy it is. Like, for example, here, a hook of updating my documentation. Every time source code changes, update my documentation. Or every time there is a new piece of code, optimize my code. Or add localization, add accessibility. I'm ridiculously excited about Kiro. This is very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Now we have two tasks that are kind of competing. There is the generate spec task that we ask to do, and there is creating a hook. I can just pile prompts as much as I want to, and Kiro will maintain a queue of those tasks and implement them one by one. So we can go and see how our requirements document is doing. It actually did the design. So again, we can go here to the specs, and we will see that we already have design. Design, as you expected, is a design MD file in the .kiro folder, and it goes into software design. What is stuff like how it's gonna
Click
work?
preview if it can show you.
Yeah, I can show you. Yeah, and much better, right?
See,
So
like
there's-
diagrams. Now you architects all of a sudden. You kind of like bring this to the meeting and you're the king. No?
Yeah.
No?
So yeah. So there are diagrams and Mary-made.
And your boss will be saying like, "You so thoughtful about those things."
So
Yeah.
smart, so
yeah.
smart, right? Interfaces, right? Key methods, considerations. Here is how we're gonna call our light bulb and the API format, and that's exactly the right API call.
Yeah.
Because context 7, thank you context 7, and then the records, and here is JavaScript. Victor, you need to translate that. That's
Yep.
all in JavaScript. I don't understand any of that. And basically, obviously, I'm going to say that the design looks amazing because it does. It has diagrams. Now it's going to create.
You're absolutely right.
Yes. Now it's going to create the tasks. Now, while it's doing that, I want to go back to our friend Visual Studio Code.
Visual Studio Code does many things now.
Yeah. So you remember when we provided it with our prompt, and we let it work. We let it rip. Now it started according to intent integrity chain with documentation, and this is the design. It's just broken into multiple files, but it's exactly the same idea, right? So we have here product context, what is it we're trying to do, active context, what we are doing at the moment, current state and decisions, a tech context, this is what we're going to use for technology, etc., etc.
So your current context document is essentially like every time your boss emails you saying, "Hey, what's the updates?
What are you doing?
What's
Yeah.
an updates?" And you can give this like a automatic responder with the current context from
Exactly.
from the content.
And in Kiro, I can automate it with a hook.
Yes. So
Sweet.
you see, you need to be like work smarter, not harder.
Okay. Now you can see what is going on right now. It finished creating the documents, and now it started creating interfaces. The interfaces are still a part of the requirements, right? Because they are like empty and not doing anything. And then it checks that it actually runs, and then it commits and does the stuff. So this is working. Kiro, I think, is working. And before we get to Victor, let's put another tool to work. And the tool that we are going to put to work will be Codex. So
While you're putting this, it's actually a good segue.
Okay. Yeah.
Now the Claude Code. So Claude Code, I give it to same prompt. We generated Claude Code file. Claude Code file analyzed how is going on there. Now it created requirements that will include the user story based on our initial requirements, because this is what the prompt-driven development says. Here's my request. Now use this methodology, the requirements, go ahead and start, building documentation. As you remember, results of our PDD generation would be tasks, and after that, based on the task, we can track what is going on here. So in this case, it just went and created the part in Juni, because I think I have this like somewhere written in the PDD that will use Juni. Needs to be fixed. So now, and after that, it analyzed phases. It just generated all these files, and in the end, it says, "Hey, there's a hard stop. It requires me to get the request from the human. Oh, almighty human. Once approved, I will proceed implementing starting from phase 1, set up infrastructure. Now, here's it gives me, it calls to MCP server, it's ready to do this. I said, go ahead. And now I can say, there's no, I couldn't find YOLO mode, or at least I didn't maybe look very cautiously. But for each individual folder, in this particular case, it will create Claude a local JSON file that will have this allow and deny and ask type of behavior when you need to explicitly allow certain commands. So in this particular case, it will be calling this MCP server without me explicitly providing answer. So, and obviously we have a one tool. We also need to tell yes. Another tool we also wanted to run with MCP, and now it starts generating our pom.xml. The biggest problem that we found in when you're not using the tools like Context 7, they will start hallucinating so hard on pom.xml or start hallucinating on gradle.build because they have some weird knowledge of the past how these things would be used. And again, now because we do have integration with the up-to-date documentation, we always will get correct our Maven coordinates. We always will correct things that here. So the difference here, it didn't ask about the IP address of the bulb, and in this case, I can say, hey, you didn't ask. It didn't ask for a correct bulb IP, but here it is. So 192, 168, 8.135. So before it will run also to avoid use as server port. So even with this, I have a ability to interact with the model, interact with the tool, and the next thing is that it will update and will ask me what to do next. Nice thing is that on the UI we also can see diff. Sometimes it shows what it changes, and you will be able to see what is going on. Now building backend core.
Okay, you want to switch?
Yeah, just give me a second.
It's building backend core.
Yeah.
Switch.
Let me show you. So the tasks on the previous run, I reminded. Sometimes you need to remind your colleague or your junior developer saying, "Hey, did you go and update your tasks based on the implementation?" And so, "Oh yes, I forgot." So what's changed? So I said that okay, you implemented this, but you didn't update your tasks. Now it went updated task, and now my task.md up to date. So we'll see if the how the Claude code will update those tasks when it's done with this CI.
Okay, Kiro magic. Kiro is being hard at work. So let's first of all review our spec. So our spec finished the requirements, the design, and the task list. And this is the task list. Now, task list in Kiro is very cool. First of all, it's a markdown document, right? Exactly as you expected. But this is actually a smart markdown document. And you can do stuff like, for example, disable it or make it complete. So you make it complete by obviously doing this. Task completed. It's not completed. But you can also make it optional or disable it by doing this. This makes it optional. It's not required. It will be only done if you ask for it to get done. So it's a markdown, but it's embedded in the UI of Kiro.
Yeah, it's pretty cool UI.
Very
so
sweet.
I was doing this for my to-do list all the time when I was developing certain features. I'll create this to-do list, and I had to do this manually.
Yep.
After that, I learned how I can generate this using LLM. But this is next step where this is actually
This is very nice.
Yeah.
Now look at that. Our tests are now optional.
Oh.
Generating tests
Who can
are
relate?
now optional.
Who can relate?
But there is a much better reason why they're optional of not being lazy.
Okay.
Because our hook run. And our hook already generated all the tests. So we don't need to generate them as a part of our task list. So here's our hook, remember? This is our guy. And it's running right here. That's the execute hook auto-generate TDD tests. Why it got triggered? Because the task list was created. And look at that, it actually generated a bunch of tests, and you can see here that those tests are failing because not yet implemented. This is our TDD in practice, and this is actually pretty cool. And it has a list of everything that is implemented and what's not. Now, this generated out of the box is a perfect foundation or framing or like basics for intent integrity chain implementation. And this is all done out of the box. And this is, I'm stupidly overexcited about it. So now...
No. This is something to be excited about. This is something kind of like we were developing these ideas with the PDD and IIC, and all of a sudden there's tools that kind of read our minds, and we have a very nice.
And now I can go ahead and actually do the work. So I can say implement the specified spec using the TDD tests generated. And I wonder if I can point it to spec, or will it find it by itself? I think it will just find it by itself. And just let it rip. It will go ahead and...
What the hell?
That's way too bright.
Yes, it's way too bright. So
okay. Now, while we are doing that, let me show you. Let me start on context 7. Now, I already opened context 7 and already provided with the question with the prompt of generating the instructions. So it context, not context 7, codex. Sorry. Too many familiar words. This is codex. This is GPT codex, and it's a command line tool exactly like what Victor is now showing you with Claude. So codex, you see here it's black on black. But here we go. This is the command that I run codex. Obviously, it's codex YOLO. You only live once, means do everything, approve everything, don't bother me with stupid questions. If I really meant RM dash like RF or not, just go ahead and do it. So codex YOLO is great for our example. Don't try that at home. It built a plan for my request of generating instructions, synthesize methodology and requirements from existing docs, write dedicated front-end and back-end instruction, and create root agent MD, consolidating all that. This has all been done, and now we're ready for our next prompt. I have IntelliJ here open for this on the same directory, so you can see visually the code, and you can see here that it indeed generated the agent MD. Here it is, and it has all the documentation that we need. Now this is our starter prompt, and we're going to edit it here because it's easier. Specifications and requirements follow intent integrity chain defined in the rules, and key requirements, it's all good. Okay, so we're going here, we're pasting it, and we will let it run. And while it is running, it's time to show Visual Studio Code. What is going on? Okay, so remember how Victor showed you the list of allowed commands. If we are not running YOLO like we do in Codex, the tool will ask us if we want to do it or not. So there are 3 options of doing it. You can allow the exact command line. You can allow a broader command, like a base command, or you can just allow it one time. You can also configure auto-approve. Now, this is how auto-approved works. So it basically describes it, what it does, and here edit in JSON. Now, this is the list of auto-approved commands. And you can see here that I can provide a base command like Maven, or a very specific command like homebrew open something. So that's like a very, no, that's also basic, this is Java. But I can also specify very basic command. Now, the caveat here is that security teams try to save us from ourselves and have interventions for commands that they think are dangerous. So even though I specifically provided here with the right command, which is git, I have git here somewhere right here, and say approve everything that starts with git, the tool decided that it needs to ask me again if I specifically want to allow this because it combines two commands. And maybe while I approved everything after git, by using the second command, the tool is trying to do something malicious. So when it will see like do two commands at once, it will require auto approve, although you already have base git in your tools. So that's a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Victor, you have something to show?
Not yet. So
Not yet. I will show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
okay.
show
Yeah, yeah, no,
you,
I have
show
a
you
lot.
working up. Like
Yeah, no, I have a
already
lot
show
of
you
stuff.
two.
I have a lot of
Two?
stuff. One. Okay, what do we have here? We have our tasks being implemented, right? This is back to Kira, obviously. And we can go to spec, we can jump right here, and here is our task list that being interactively implemented with the checkbox of how it goes and where it is. So I think it's doing pretty well. It's already, wow, this is a lot of work done. Verify cross-browser compatibility. Okay, we're close enough. And it actually does and runs Maven build. Maven build is failed. Oh, here we go. Spring Boot is running, and we probably can see it right now. Ah, no, it didn't. It was tests. It wasn't starting there. Okay, it will get to it. Okay, so same here with the rules in Kira. Oh, no, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! It didn't ask me for IP, so it probably won't work. But you know, YOLO. Ah, okay, that also works. Okay, so all tests. No, that's wrong here. Test status. Reminding task. Verify Chrome browser compatibility we don't need. Let's make it optional. That was 14 that we don't need. 16, 14 we don't need. We don't need 14. Okay, here we go. 15 create player integration test. Final integration testing. You know what? We don't need any of that for now. We'll just keep them all to see the application working. Okay. It didn't actually start it. Okay, we'll start it for it. It's fine. Where is my no, what I'm doing? I copied the wrong thing. We need to copy the Maven this. Here we go. We can run in terminal right here. Okay, it claims that it started. Let's see, it's working. There we go. It was allowed the camera. Yes, allow. Yes, allow. Yes, allow. Camera allow. There we go. Camera allow. We don't need the settings anymore. Okay, MacBook camera. Look at that. Victor, you're on TV.
I'm on TV. Let's try to see if your camera was just like zoom out.
I can guarantee you it does not work because it didn't ask me for IP.
It did not?
No, but first let's see if it works
with the color recognition.
Yes.
It's not
even
it's not even recognizing.
It's not even recognizing, which is very disappointing.
Yes, but
yes.
you know, we still have 1 hour and 18 minutes to fix that. So
yes. Okay, you have stuff to show?
Yeah, I will try. Let's see how it actually works. So my Claude code did a lot of work here. I accidentally closed this. Now, so what I had to do is, hey, you know, it runs, it builds the application. It's, you know, it's super cool and stuff like that. So I can do runs application, throws an error. Why does it throw it an error? There's someone is running this port. So in this case, I will just do ls of kill and run this one more time. Maybe there was another window where I was running, but anyways. So I think they have the same issue that the detection is not working. So the way how I want to go to fix this application works, but color detection doesn't work. Use the Playwright browser tools to investigate.
That's exactly what I told Kiro to do.
To investigate and fix like front end. So the way how I did this, my Playwright also was is part of my the Docker MCP toolkit. So I included this context 7 and Playwright here. So let's see if it will be able to recognize it. Now, it says, okay, so if it wants it to run it, I kill it. Okay, let's see.
What is our IP?
192, 168, 835. 135.
125?
No, 8, 135.
8, 125.
Yeah,
Okay.
35.
35.
So, okay, so where is it? Yep, it would say, yes, and I don't want you to ask, okay? So it will run Spring Boot in the background. So now Claude Code also can run some external tools for you, and also analyze this. Next, open browser, navigate to application. I actually don't know if it actually means me go there or navigate there. We'll see. Show tools, okay, so it gets the some output. Let's ignore it. It's some unsafe warnings. It's nothing to be afraid of. Now it says that okay, so there is a the tool available. Please use it. Navigate to URL. So it start talking to this MCP server, and the model that. We showing my stuff? Yeah, we're showing my stuff. So yes, I don't want these two. Okay, wait until navigation, connection refuse. Why? Install browser specific config. Yes, I don't want this to be. Let's see if it actually works here. So yeah, this application is up and running. So it will start struggling. Let's see if it's a Playwright browser might not be installed. So let's install first. So in the Playwright, it will be using headless Google Chrome, and let's see if it actually does whatever we need. For now, not much. So with the Claude Code, we also have ability to see what it prints out. It outputs like a truncated output. Also, you can see there's different shortcuts available. That is for people who like the consoles like I am, and you will be able to do all these type of things. Now we're waiting until my front end is picking up the things. Let's see. So I think I just killed this. Okay, so fixed up color text. Okay, let's try it one more time because it looks like I pressed the escape and it killed the task. Maybe in this case it would be much easier for it to be just using curl, but we'll see if it will be able to run this with the MCP. And as you can see here, it actually uses the Playwright type of code because okay, the way why it's not connecting. Sometimes it's good that you running these tools locally, so you don't need to mess around with the ports. But in this particular case, you see the model, the agent, they're smart enough to figure out that, okay, so this stuff runs inside in Docker, but in order for me to go outside of Docker container, I need to call this like host Docker internal. So in this case, it will connect to localhost. So that's why it was failing get to localhost. Now it says, okay, so yes, I want to allow all edits, and it will do the checks, the things. Looks like there's some algorithm going on in terms of detect the things. The camera is not accessible. Oh, okay, so looks like it start fixing different issue because in the headless mode it probably will have different type of permission, so it will not be able to access this. But let's see, let it run.
Okay. Yeah. No, yeah. I have.
Let it run. So it's still doing the thing. It's still doing the thing. It's trying to do things. And again, everything from the console.
Yeah, and I have Kiro that is still trying to figure it out. I think the colors are now definitely working. You can see how we are in a very nice color.
Like, yeah,
Yes.
very nice.
We're sending this color.
Okay, with different one.
Yeah, okay. Send color.
Yep, that's applause. That's, I think that's a win.
No, I told you I'm like ridiculously excited about Kiro. So basically, Kiro did the right thing, very, very close to intent integrity chain, and with very nice integration in UI. The stuff that you saw here in our specs. Let me make it larger a little bit. The requirements and the design and task, and the tasks that are selected. Really, that's Amazon. Great job. By the way, yes, it's Amazon. It's AWS team that does that, and it's like really, really good job. Let's check on our other pets. This is our monkeys. Yes, exactly. This is our codex that finished the analysis step of intent integrity chain. I have, as I mentioned, I have IntelliJ here open to the same directory so we can read the documents in a nicer way, or the code. And here all the red, marked in red because we didn't add it to GitHub yet, are the new stuff. So it's exactly the same thing, right? You see the progress, the anti context, the progress we're in phase 1, and the system architecture here outlined what we're going to do and all this kind of stuff. Now I can say that I like it. And remember how we spoke about minimizing the stuff that we're sending to the context window? In Codex, I can say here all the commands are with slash and not with hash. And I can say I want a new chat. And this will clean the context window. And now I can say phase 1 of intent integrity chain looks good. And it will know what to do because it has the methodology now baked in. Hopefully it will know what to do. Yeah, all right. While we're on it and it starts working, note the model here, the ChatGPT 5 Codex High. Switching of models is going to let you select between 3 Codex ChatGPT models, the high, the normal, and the fast, and the difference is in the amount of thinking it is doing. So basically, how thinking is working. The tool will intercept the reply and will ask follow-up questions without us asking those questions. And this is why the request takes longer, but eventually the result hopefully is better. So the high means the tool itself will try to go back and forth before telling me that the response is complete in order to provide better quality response. Now look, it starts to read all the files from scratch. Why? Because it's a new conversation. It doesn't know anything about what we discussed previously. Thankfully, we documented everything, both the methodology, the current stage, and everything else. So by reading those documents, it will know exactly what to do next, and then it will proceed to our phase 2. And let's check on our Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code claims that it finished all the work as well. And I switched the port to be different one. Let's do 8082. So we won't have any conflicts with the other 2. And the bulb IP is correct. And now we need to restart it and see if it does something reasonable. So started application. This is our application, localhost 8082. Okay, that's an interesting design.
It's which model is it? Interesting enough, like while
it's Grok.
Oh, okay, nice. Interesting enough, like when we we're testing different models, we're testing different versions of applications, and usually, even though we are not specifying like specific UI elements and how things would look like, if there's a little bit of consistency how different model will generate the generated
No,
result.
but Grok fills me. That's exactly the level of AI and JavaScript and HTML that I do. This is very much
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah,
this
like
design.
engineering design. Yes.
Yes, the design is very much me. Okay.
Cameras is great.
Cameras are
but why
great,
red?
but the color is definitely shouldn't be red right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Right. So yeah, no, the color doesn't work yet.
Send to color.
Let's see.
What it says? No, nothing.
It was supposed to be red. It's not. Okay, error signing call. Thank you very much. Okay, so back to
Driving
table.
board. Yes.
You ready to switch? Go for
Yeah.
it.
So like, and this is where we're going into this, you know, the downward spiral of kind of like going to the doing the things. 80% of time, or like what's the saying? Like 80% of time it works, 20% of time, or no, vice versa. So 20% of effort goes into 80% of application. So everything was easy and how we started, it generates everything. But the last 20%, when something is not working, it takes like a majority of the time. So what is happening right now? So it looks like the using the Playwright, it was not successful because it runs inside the Docker. So maybe I need to switch the Playwright and not use this inside the Docker, but use this in my host machine. So it will actually can start the proper browser. And what it's trying to go documentation, trying to figure out how to properly use the caller thief library that will be reading data from your camera, and after that updating this. So in this case, it found perfect. I found an issue. Color thief get color expects HTML image element, not the canvas. So we're gonna see if this actually fixed the issue.
It's probably the same error it has here.
Let's see if we refresh. Let's do refresh with the where's the inspect and disable cache and stuff like that. Where's the, let's see, refresh. Still not doing whatever we wanted it to do. On your regular browser, not the Playwright camera should be activated, and RGB value should update continuously. Video detect, so it's not. And let's see what kind of issues we might have. Do we have anything in the console? Yeah. So okay. So I can tell you go and investigate console output using Playwright. So again, this is the example where your tools are, whenever you need to interact with your local host, they need to be running not the container, but rather than they need to run either npx or something like that. So what is happening right now, it cannot use Playwright because it's inside the container. Try to run the browser inside the container. There's no kind of, yeah, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll continue. We'll continue to report from the.
Yeah. So what's going on here? What is going on here is that Grok now checked. So it took a screenshot with Playwright, and then it looked at the image, and then it apparently tries to fix something. You want to, while it does that, do you want to try and run the local model in continuous dev? That's the only thing that we didn't show yet.
Okay. It's gonna be painful, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm
Yeah.
up for this.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, while it doing some crazy stuff, still not working. Keep trying. It's working. Keep trying. Don't use Playwright.
You gave up?
Because again, it runs inside the Docker. Don't use Playwright. Just figure out from code and code documentation in context 7. Now, okay, so we go on with the world of the local models. First of all, what is the local models? We do have this fascinating tool called Ollama. Anyone using Ollama, or at least try to run this Ollama? Ollama is the application that runs locally and allows you to manage different models. There's some models that you saw today, GPT-5, Claude, and others. They're proprietary models. They available as a service. But some of the models, they open source. Either a company that donated this to some of the part of their research into open source. Like for example, in this particular case, we do have a GPT OSS, which was a recent model based on GPT-5 that is available in open source, so people can run to do this.
Before you do that, let
okay.
me show something. So there is a very nice alternative to Olama, and it's called Docker Desktop. Again, Docker Desktop, except of having MCP toolkit, also has models storage and model runner. So exactly like you do with your Docker images, you can find on Docker Hub, you can find models. Which model? Give me a model name.
Whatever, just
What
Mistral.
it was? Gwen. Mistral I haven't
Quen.
installed. Quen.
Yeah.
Quen. Here we go. Right. So there are all our that's the Quen coder that someone mentioned, and we actually tried to run it locally. And you can pull it. We won't do it because Devoxx Wi-Fi. And you can see flavors. That's the extra large. That's the latest. Their size. They are not very small. But then you actually can have them locally and run them locally. I have Mistral here running, and it's always running once you have your Docker desktop up and working. It's ready to go at any time. I can open a chat and just start chatting as I was, what are you? And it will hopefully tell me that it's Mr.
Stop hijacking.
I'm a model of.
Stop hijacking my wipe, because my wipe would be in the console.
No. Before let me finish. Let me finish the phrase. So the benefits of running Docker model running is that you don't need separate Llama because you already have Docker Desktop for other reasons, and it actually uses GPU acceleration on Mac, of course. So
Llama also uses GPU.
Yeah, I know, but you don't need Llama if you have Docker Desktop, and you do have Docker Desktop.
Good point, because not everyone has like some of the systems might not allow you to use GPU and things like that.
And Docker Desktop you already have, so you can run your models with GPU acceleration from the same tool that you already use for containers and MCP.
No, this is pretty cool. So the ability to have MCP server built in, and again, like use it with some of the tooling. Now the Claude Code was able to redeem itself. It says, hey, solution implemented. So I read documentation, implemented this, I implemented this tag, that was here, blah, blah, blah. Now go ahead and try to run this, and it works. Now it works. It works with let me see if I can select different camera during the run. So I would say this one. So I'll select my FaceTime camera, and I will try to do okay, auto mode. It's green.
It changes.
If I can change this, if I can turn back time. Okay. If I could turn. Come on. Here we go.
Yay! Nice.
So, Claude Code. Ladies and gentlemen, Claude Code. The cool thing is that Claude Code is not only the console tool, it's also SDK. So if you're building your own agents, so you want to build for your organization, you're building chatbots, you're building some agents that will do some autonomous job, you can look into documentation for Claude Code and use the components that will be used to create this thing for your personal work. Now, let's get back to local models. Olama allows me to do run these models very similar how Baruch has in his Docker. What are you? Let's see. Likely, see, it also shows this thinking moment. It is saying that, oh, so user asked me something, and we actually had a slide to explain this, like what's the thinking is actually.
I just did.
Oh.
Yeah, I already. You just don't. You ignore me, but I did.
Yeah, I'm very focused on my
Yeah,
thing.
I hope the audience actually remembers something.
Now, in this case, it's kind of cool because I don't need to have ChatGPT here. It is will be available on my laptop. I can ask the sorts of questions like I don't know what's the give me give me like 5 quotes from weapon said by Riggs. Let's see if it knows. Anything about yeah yeah so I guess that's the thing. So with the local models you can do this type of stuff without having like ChatGPT. Now we want to use it for different purposes. Obviously,
we definitely do.
we're coding in the world of the agentic IDs. Now the bad news is that with the tools that we're using we cannot do this, and with the Windsurf, with the Cursor, they designed to be used with the hosted model. So they will be calling APIs and they will expecting kind of like you to either use whatever models provided by the systems, or you kind of like using something that will be hosted but also available within your organization, like Amazon Bedrock. Anyone using Amazon Bedrock, Open Router, any type of system that very similar to allow you to run this? Okay, so a few people. There will be a few cool folks from Amazon to talk about Bedrock. James Ward, probably somewhere here as well. Ask him about the Bedrock. We cannot do this. We want to do this from a laptop. We want to run this from here. So we got to find different tool, and we actually found this. And there's also example of another continue.dev. It's called continue.dev. It's another agent. It has a plugin for VS Code. We will go away with the VS Code, very similar to what we showed you here. Or we can use something like what is known as Klein or C-Line, because those tools allows us to integrate with Olama. So in this case, I can show you, for example, in the selection of the model, I can select Olama. It runs locally. It found what kind of models I have. I have this GPT, Gwen, and these things. And after that, I can start chatting about, let's ask something simple and see what if it will be able to. Say, like, who, hello, write me, hello, world in Kotlin. We're using coding model. Let's see if it would work. Now, first of all, it will take a lot of time to do this. Even though it's not going to internet, it will try to interact with local model, and it will use a lot of memory. And also, everything boils down to the system prompt. So the Klein or C-Line has a system prompt that knows how to talk to different models. So when I do API requests, it's actually doing multiple requests. It will try to elaborate what we're asking, and it will take some time. Another tool that I wanted to, as I mentioned, I wanted to use while it's doing the thing. I wanted to use this with. And I wanted to use this CN tool. So command line tool, continue. In this particular case, I will be using either local model. Actually, I don't want to use GPT. I want to use, let's do this one, code config YAML. So in here, I can select the models. In this particular case, it will use Gwen or GPT. So what I can do here, select model. Actually, you can do the same things. You can do this in Codex. You can do this in Claude. So in this case, I'm going to use Gwen for coding. And now I can say that, okay, so write me a hello world in Kotlin. Just this example. And after that, I will apply our system prompt that we use for the rest of the tool. So talking to the model. Let me check in existing coil files. Now, for some reasons, it wants to look for existing files. Kotlin. We'll see. Okay, so I created a new file called hello Kotlin. So it's local model. So local model, let's see if it's um, still doing the thing. And I forgot which tool I used to continue. Yes, for continue, it created, it does the thing. So
Yeah, okay, good.
now with the continue, I want to say that continue also has let me kill it. Let me delete this. Continue also has its own set of rules. So let's go ahead and do the same prompt. We're gonna do doc requirements, create a separate front end, blah blah blah, and we're gonna use MCP. So let's see if MCP is also available here. It has no servers configured, and how I can configure this. Since we're still kind of like assuming that we're offline, let's ditch MCP as well. So we're gonna do like simple prompt like this. It would be already hard enough for this tool, so trust me. I'm just trying to make the good impression that this actually works. It works kind of by luck, not by some sort of like consistency or whatnot.
Or methodology.
Or methodology, exactly. So at least let's see if this time it will not generate me JavaScript that generates the backend. So yeah, it's a true story. So I asked it to generate the rules, and it generated me a JavaScript file that will be writing a file called backend.md. It has backend as a title in hash in this. So it's trying to look into something. So tool itself, the agent itself, knows what to find. Okay, so let's continue. Continue. So it's trying to find the files that I'm asking. So it has a little bit of understanding of the prompt. So the agent, this continue, has a conversation with the model right now. So and certain tools that are available. So for example, Gwen model is capable of running tools. When you're picking up the models for your local development, make sure that your model know how to run the tools. In configuration for continue, what I can do here is give me to show you this. There's different roles how you can apply. You can use different models for different roles. You can have, say, the model that will write in code and the model that will be used inside, say, ID as a completion. You can use absolutely two different models. You can have a different model for chatting. In this particular case, I'm saying that my Gwen, local Gwen that is deployed, use this for creating files, chatting. So apply will be essentially, that's your agentic expectations. And capabilities tool use, meaning that it will know how to call external tools. So it's doing something. And let's see, it's a different. So inside the continue, it created file.roles. I don't know if it's the correct way. I think that's the way how it's done. It generates the file. And yeah, so we get some result. So as a next step, now we do have this rules. What I'm going to ahead and run our next system prompt and see if this. Do I want to do this with methodology or just
No. Spare it.
Yeah. Okay. So in this case, I'll just
alive.
Yeah, I'll do no methodology. So in this case, it will use. I don't know what is their syntax for dealing with files. So I'll just keep it like this and do emphasis. And see if this will be able to do anything. So honestly, I will be super surprised if it will do this. But we live in the time of wonders. So read the requirements. You have rules, so go ahead. So it will do. You cannot hear this right now, but my laptop usually doesn't make any sounds. Here right now, it's actually taking off. Yeah. And to show you, meanwhile, another agent that also works with local model, trying to do something and it wants to create a file, and it's also created a file. So two tools, client and continue, they have a ability to do this. Client also has the agent that runs inside the console, inside the VS Code, but we will continue with continue, no pun intended. Look at this, check this out. So actually does something. So maybe we'll have some
Maybe.
working advice for people who want to run this in airports, in cars, planes, in
conferences.
yeah, in conferences. Yes.
All right. Okay. So just wanted to check in on our friend Codex here. It's chugging along. It's definitely taking its time because, as I mentioned, it's a high reasoning model, so everything is painfully slow. But we do have some progress. We finished with phases 1 and 2, and we have our entire analysis is written, including the test scenarios. Remember, that's like a very important part of our intent integrity chain, and the scenarios here are all listed. That will be the basics for our specs that will become tests, that will become the test-driven development. It also started to write a code which will be the interfaces for our tests that are going to be generated. And basically, it created a POM XML with the right file, with the right dependencies, and you remember the dependencies are correct because they're all coming from context 7, so this is safe. Visual Studio Code asked for my attention for a second here. What happened? Yeah, poor Grok is still trying to make it work. There is like we're trying really hard. So let's run the application here and see if it got any better. Okay, and now it has start camera button, still red and nothing, and send color still doesn't do anything. Well, it will keep working.
Yeah, it will keep working. It's it's I think the first coding model from the from XAI.
Yep.
Honestly, if you would using like comparing some of the desktop tools, I think the Grok is doing like tremendous progress for the last months. Previously, it was some sort of like obscure system. Right now, it has the best image generation. The best. It's the fastest. It can generate like incredibly detailed images. They can also run on top of these images, you can also animate them immediately, and they have a pretty good research engine. So I use Grok for research. It has a research mode that can go and browse the web and gives me a result. It works great. I don't need to have paid subscription for say Perplexity if I need to do something like this. But though I still use the X, and the subscription comes from this. Now, I'm actually like super excited to see how this will turns out. But this stuff is actually start doing some things. I will let this to run this by its own. But after that, I really want to enable MCP server for this. So continue CN also supports running MCP servers, and I will go and configure this when it starts failing. So it will try to maybe call MCP server, and maybe we'll find some awesome documentation. But so far, what I can see, it generates seemingly looking fine. Maven project. Let's refresh it. I always forgetting. Do you actually know what's the difference between sync all Maven projects or like a refresh all Maven projects?
No one knows, but it's also like they are combining it into one, so don't worry about it.
What's the reload all the projects? What's gonna be sync? Or I just generate sources. So yeah, this one is doing something, generate some code. Application.properties, it's there. Like, let me fix this port so it will not problem. And I'm not even trying to rely on it to ask. The higher level models and more complicated tools allow you to ask this. Yes, please, absolutely.
Yeah. So while we wait on the local model, on the poor Grok to fix something, and Codex definitely takes the time. I have a couple of more slides that I wanted to show you. So MCPs. We spoke about Context 7 extensively. We spoke about Playwright. GitHub MCP is also highly recommended. The only problem with GitHub MCP is that it has 101 commands out of the box, so it will dramatically slow down your tools. Enable what really matters. Now it covers everything that there is in GitHub, including stuff like issues and discussions and GitHub actions and organizations and enterprise and what's not. Just go ahead and pick the commands that you are going to use. Stuff like pull and push and rebase, maybe manipulations with repos, the stuff that really that you really want the model to use, and then it's pretty nice. There are bunch of awesome lists of MCP servers of note. The one from Pankai is very nice, so recommended to look as well. Just as a reminder, you go to shownotes.taxcare.com, and all those links are there for sure. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but the end results of what Victor did
Yes.
and what I did look eerily similar. Well, except of Grok. Look eerily similar. The design, how the page laid out, even like the design elements are absolutely the same. And they are the same for a couple of reasons. We had similar requirements, but those requirements didn't go into specifics of front end, so it's definitely not enough. But it took the same documentation from Context 7 with the same queries, so there are a lot of reasons why it's similar, but it's too similar. And the reason it's too similar because all those models were pre-trained on the same code, on the same GitHub repos, on the same Stack Overflow questions, etc. And what I'm getting into is the question of the copyright and the rights of the code that you consume, and most importantly, that you produce. Well, not us, LLM read all the end user license agreements of all the different tools that we showed you today, so you won't have to, and this is what we found. The generated code is yours, but no one can guarantee that this code is unique. LLM might end up generating the same code for me and for the next guy. And that's exactly actually what happened. So you need to be aware of that. Now, if you try to copyright it and say no one else can generate the same code, you might find yourself in a position that someone already generated the same code. Now, all the tools except one, except Juni, trains on the code that you generated by default. The code that the models generate go into the company that provides the model to keep training. Well, and the local models obviously don't do that. But everything else, all the tools, Visual Studio Code, Kiro, and all those tools will send the code back for training. Juni, there is a checkbox that says don't do that. And that's because they don't have their own model. They don't have their own model, so they don't need to train anyone on it. Copilot knows to do really cool stuff. Because it's GitHub, and they pretty much have all the open source code in the world, they can find open source code which will violate your license. So you can say, if the model generated the code which is GPL, make sure to not put it in my code base. And it knows code GPL because GitHub, which is very cool. Now, if you pay enough money to GitHub in the enterprise subscription, they also provide you with legal protections that the code that GitHub Copilot will generate won't include any open source infringements, which is very cool. And Copilot can also warn you, and you can set it up to block from generating code which is similar to open source out there, which is also very, very cool. Yes?
So it's opposite from if you pay enough for
No, you will be able to configure use this feature. It's a feature.
So the question was,
Yeah, sorry.
if you pay Copilot enough, you can skip them from learning from your code, which is true. You can set it up, and then you can just say, none of my code is going to training. And if you use like Copilot for free, you cannot say that. The only ones that won't use your code for training will be Juni because they have nothing to train. They don't train models. At the moment, at least, publicly.
Who?
Of what we know. JetBrains.
Yeah.
Anything to show?
I'm still working. It's actually a generated project, and it compiles.
Okay, let's see.
Almost.
Our codex is actually at the end of phase 3. And phase 3 did exactly what we needed it to do following internal integrity chain. It generated scaffolding for the tests. It authored backend tests that are failing because not yet implemented. It built a playwright harness for the UI tests. Updated documentation, which is very cool. All new tests expected to fail, pretty cool. And now it actually says, give me the IP, and I will go and actually start using that. So this is pretty cool. All I need to do is, again, start a new chat, and then say bulb IP is 162, what was it? 192, 168, 192, 168,
8135. People tell
135.
you.
People, yeah, no, that's a t-shirt. Definitely, thank you. Go for phase 4. Now it will go like, what? What bulb IP? What are you talking about? It's going to write it right here, which is pretty funny. Hopefully, maybe. Yeah, no, but it go like, I have no idea what are you talking about.
Yeah, it's not funny like haha, it's funny like yikes.
Preparing to consult context and inspect a repo, and it will need to relearn everything from scratch because it has no idea what the context is. The good news are that we have everything documented, so it will now go and start to learn anew. How our poor Grok is doing? Okay, Grok is sure that it fixed everything right now. So let's try and run it. Okay. Start camera. Nope, same. Still red. Send color. Still nothing. Yep. You want to take it?
Yeah, I was actually surprised that we went that far. So this is what the local Gwen model has generated. This for some
not
reason
bad.
it says
not bad.
LED strip controller. So we didn't mention this anywhere. So but still is not working. So let's see what it says. So it's also confused from some of the code that it was able to pick up for some reasons. Maybe there was some leftovers and that get a little bit confused. Okay, Spring boot application runs and compiles, but no camera detection and no connection to light bulb. Fix it. So let's see if it will be able to do the things. Also, let's see if it's actually generated any like maybe when we have a like requirement it will go ahead and doing something like this. But for now, it's kind of struggling. So let's see what it will do. But again, this is so cool. It's actually, you know, I somehow moved much more further than it was before.
In our right on.
And surprisingly, like yesterday Codex actually very quickly.
I switched to high reasoning to actually get better results.
Yeah, maybe it's too cool for school, and that's why it kind of like too smart.
No. Again, you ignored me when I explained it that it has like a low, normal, and high reasoning. So I switched it to high reasoning in order for it to get better, and it's just much slower because it is high reasoning.
Okay, so
but I have
it's additional internal loop that will
I
evaluate.
explained all that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's everything you need to know about my attention span and
Yeah,
how I stressed during the live demo and not paying attention to anything else.
Yeah, so I hope that switching to high actually will produce good results eventually, sometime in the next 4 hours. But it actually chugging along and doing what needs to be done. And where is our poor Grok? Okay, poor Grok thinks that. Now it wants me to debug. It wants me to open developer tools, go to console lab, and do its work for it, and use playwright MCP for that. Let's see if it can do that. Basically, it needs to open the browser right here inside Visual Studio, and then be able to navigate the DOM and see the console and everything else.
It will not gonna. It's gonna be the same problem. You need to write the playwright not in Docker. You also didn't pay attention for the things what I said.
Yes.
So let's see how the good partnership works. Kind of like everyone is happy because no one is listening. All right. Yes, your playwright most likely will be running inside your Docker container. So the local host inside Docker container would be a different local host. And
so it
running
won't be
the
able
browser.
to open anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Since you're running the headless mode, it will not be able to open the browser. So it will be the problems and stuff like that.
Okay,
so you can switch to like playwright that is local. Yeah. So meanwhile, it's actually interesting enough. It started doing some weird stuff. Like now we're looking into OpenCV functionality for implementing the camera.
How did
I will
there?
create a complete implementation that includes camera detection with OpenCV functionality, bulb connectivity, and proper control structure. This is where I think I need to interrupt and try to convince it to use MCP. I think that's where. I disable it because I was not sure if it's gonna work. So let me see. Let's try how tool calling, because this is total nonsense. This is not what we're expecting, and this is why kind of like we cannot have a good things and people thinking that the coding with LLMs is dumb. So okay, let me kill this and. What is happening right now?
I have the same two strugglers. The Claude is not Claude. Context is actually writing code.
Codex.
Codex is writing code, and Grok is baffled by my request to do something with MCP server. Yep. So it's tries to understand where it is. And this is Codex. Let's see what's going on in Codex. So this is our tests, and this is our JavaScript tests. Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on. People are starting to leave for a good reason. Do you want to wrap it up?
We can. We actually can have a little bit more interactive things so people.
Yeah,
can
that's
ask
what I wanted to do now. All right, so voting time.
Yeah.
Voting time. So we're going back to our table of what we tried to do, which is right here. And we wanna hear from you, and then we'll have time for questions. All right, so let's vote for a winner by the order of completion of their tasks.
Yeah.
Right, so you just applaud, and we apply very scientific method of judging the noise by listening to it and determine the winner.
That would be idea for the next live demo. We're gonna do wipe code the
Up
microphone
that measures decibels.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. All right. So who votes for Junie?
I think Junie. Let me remind you. The first tool.
Don't screw things.
No. The first tool that I showed, it did this with the minimum amount of intervention. It did only 3 prompts from me to fix this and get this up and running.
After this lobbying, let's try it again. Junie.
Woo!
Okay, cool. Kiro.
Again, let me remind you what you saw, right?
I
You
don't
saw-
need lobbying. People love it.
Yes, no, it's actually pretty cool, and the built-in spec-driven that is part of UI. You still can vibe because they have a different mode where it will not apply all this kind of like a younger generation. They like vibing, and my older generation we like things structured. Even though we're not doing the waterfall, we're still doing kind of like a agile style.
Process.
Yeah, but
Yes.
we like the processes. Yes.
Okay, next one was Claude Code that basically just did its thing in the
In the background,
In the
yeah, I
very
think
efficiently,
it's
absolutely.
exactly how the agent should do things,
right.
right?
It was like no fuss, no flashy UI, nothing,
Yeah,
but it did
yeah,
what it needs to do.
exactly, yeah,
that
yeah.
was very cool. And a list of strugglers. So VS Code Copilot, I think, deserved much more credit than Grok allowed it to have.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if we did it with Sonnet 1.5, it will be on par with the ones that finished very.
So
very
essentially,
soon.
if you don't have any money, if you want to just like start doing this agentic thing, the Copilot would be the best thing because it has a very generous free tier that comes with the Copilot, and they have models that the premium models for free. And this is I would recommend if you want to start experimenting things. Copilot definitely has a lot of thoughts on how it would be integrated in the bigger ecosystem.
It works. So I didn't show you, but you saw this button that you can actually send the workloads to work on GitHub in the cloud. And then the UI actually switches from VS Code to GitHub. You will communicate with the agent in comments of pull requests.
You can actually show if you want.
I can.
So essentially, it is. We didn't show this and we didn't put this in the slides, but probably next time, if we will get the good votes from this session from you folks, if we get a return next year with the update of this presentation, we not only include UI and CLI, but also we include the cloud versions. The Baruch was trying to show you is that we can run whole process of the things that we just said without like any IDE. Everything gonna happen on GitHub. We can communicate through the comments. Same functionality also available in the JetBrains Juni. You also can work with Juni. For example, I do have a project like this where Juni is responsible for implementing this like support of upgrading Kotlin version, and JetBrains Juni will do the thing. So it will start this project, build this, create the container, will run all this code, will give you a fantastic kind of like a review, and after that we'll create the pull request. So in this case, there's a pull request that is Juni created, and I can go ahead and also have a conversation with it. Come on, like, are we internets? Yeah, internet's low. I can have a conversation saying, hey, Juni, can you figure out and fix this? Like, what's the action is failing? And Juni can have this conversation here. Yep. So
and this is sending the same the request to Copilot from Visual Studio Code.
Yep.
Here it is. You can see this is our prompt that refers to requirements and what's not exactly as we like it. What happened?
I'd probably try to run the browser and stuff.
So you can see all the information here, and then you can see Copilot that started to be the plan. It's assigned itself, and then it starts working. I killed it, but basically this is how you interact with it. Here is another one that I also tried. Just asked it to build
Copilot is also very good on if you have a PR that you need to be reviewed before, kind of like before you go deeper in this. You can ask Copilot to review PR for you and get you summarized.
It's right here. It's right here.
Yeah.
So I asked it to add a README to this repository just to show you, just to see how they workflow, and then I kept asking for additional. Here, so it changed the title to work in process, and then it says like ready for review, right? Copilot finished work, and then I asked for revisions, and again it did the revisions and all that. So it's the same UI, like the same conversation. This is just online, and this is built in Visual Studio Code, which is absolutely awesome. Okay, that's why it opened the browser, because that was the work in progress that I showed you previously. It shows the UI right in Visual Studio Code, and you can see here what it does. So Copilot began working on troubleshooting, and then the branch has no conflicts. It's ready for review. I can tap on ready for review. No, I can actually see the commit here. Where's the commit?
What kind of tasks are you using mostly with this pushing?
So you can push basically anything, right? So the question was, what kind of tasks are good for pushing to GitHub? You can push anything that you do locally. You can do in the cloud as well. The beautiful thing here is that you can parallel. You can assign
Implement
as many tasks to the cloud as you want, to different repos, and it will all do it in parallel. So here's the PR. So pull requests. You see there is one open pull request right here, and this is our work in progress troubleshooting bulb detection issues. And you can see how it created a checklist, contained the original prompt here. And what did it do? It has one commit that is build the initial plan, right? So that was the plan. So now it says like, hey, I have a plan, go for it, and come on, conversation.
Yeah, internet starts struggling.
Okay.
It looks like people leaving from other sessions and they start kind of like chatting on the phones.
Okay, and
Yep.
yeah, and then I can say stuff like merge pull request, and once I merge the plan, it will start working on a plan and trying to fix the light bulb issue. All right, so Visual Studio Code definitely deserves much more.
It's a great tools. So we're gonna React test and we review next year or next couple months how the maybe local development will be improved using local models, or some cheaper models like using maybe like some hosted version that would be relatively cheap. The whole purpose of using local models is that you have ability to do things offline. You don't need to use API. Yes, please, question over there.
Oh, that's an excellent question. That's a cheater.
So the question was about what's the experience with existing code.
Okay, that's a great question. I didn't pay this gentleman, but I will in t-shirts. Don't forget the t-shirt. Because it was a great question. So the entire, like, all this vibe code and all this stuff is great for new apps and probably simple ones. It's a perfect it's a conference demo, but how useful it is in real life, and especially if you have existing code base. Now, for existing code base, we have a number of problems. First of all, the intent of existing code is usually obscure. There might be subject matter experts that know the code, but for a model and for most of the people, it's not clear what's the intent.
Obviously, it depends on the size. If it's a monolithical system versus microservices versus stuff.
It's still an issue. It's still an issue. Now, that makes our prompt-driven development and intent integrity chain impossible to start with, because we start from requirements, which is the intent of the code, which is not clear. So the first step for existing code will be realizing the intent. And the best way we can have to analyze the intent is to reverse the intent integrity chain. We can ask the model to come up with tests that will cover the entire code base that we need to work with.
It always worked for me when I was doing consultancy times. Like, if you want to introduce new framework, start with the test. If you introduce new tools, start with the test.
And
it's not going to touch the production code, but at least you will give you idea to learn a little bit. And,
of course. And once the tests are generated with AI, it's very easy and simple. And we protect, instead of protecting the tests, we protect the code, and we implement a bunch of tests. Now, out of those tests, we can ask to generate the specs that describe those tests. And out of the spec, we can actually come up with proper software definition requirement documents. And now we are back where we should be. Now we can start iterating and moving forward with additional features. we have the requirements, we have the specs, we have the tests. Now we can modify the requirements. It will generate new additional specs. It will generate new additional tests, and we can move the software forward. So before we start, we need to realize the intent, and we do it again from tests with verifiable chain, which is very nice. Now, another very important concept that, at least in my mind, is making tremendous comeback with AI assistant coding is microservices. And this is because context window size. The span of AI attention to what we want to teach it. The larger the code base is, the harder it is for AI to grasp it, because it needs to suck in the intent, which might be huge because of the code base.
There's one of the selling points when we start talking about microservices, that usually in monolithic application there's a lot of things going on, and it couldn't fit in the brain of one person. So that's why the context of particular features in microservices was easy to understand, explain, and that's why we have a concept of 2 pizza teams and stuff like that. There we go into the route again. The probably DevOps will come back with the AI kind of like a sequel, and where we can apply some of the things that we learn over the time, but the human kind of like based things. You apply this to AI agents and the AI assistant.
Another huge benefit of small microservices is that they are disposable. And what we show here is code that we can decide to get rid of, rewrite the requirements, regenerate the test, and regenerate all the code from you. And this can be only done if we have microservices which have well-defined boundaries and also small in size. So we can say, okay, we don't like the current implementation of this microservice. We are going to throw it away. Instead, we are going to come up with proper intent integrity chain process, and we will just generate a bunch of new code instead.
Yeah.
And again, this will be completely interchangeable because we have good boundaries, and it's also going to be very fast, relatively fast.
One of the things that I wanna talk in a second, to addition to Baruch's, is kind of like maybe show you a little bit how the dishes are working in how we work on presentation. This is exactly how we started. We started with like simple thing. Okay, let's research it. Let's see what we want to do. We build this application. We know what's the errors this application might have. After that, we try to refine. So this is where the context 7 requirement come into play, because we know that LLMs will gonna generate us obsolete and absolutely old APIs and things like that. So we use same approach that Baruch just described for building our demos for here. So the way how the reason why it actually works great right now, because we spent some time kind of refining this and working through this requirement documentation. That was most important. And the way how we created this requirement document, by creating these disposable services, it runs, it works. Okay, so let's turn it away and get the comparison, what we did different from this step. So we kind of sort of did also training, but also we learn the train ourselves how to use the tool, and where think about the code, worry about the code, and be in creating disposable code that we will be not afraid to throw away. And another thing that's also very important thing that Baruch didn't say is that the way how you can describe your intent, what your software is going to be, this skill is important like it never before these days, because your LLMs, they're a little bit smarter than your people, so LLMs can better understand intent of your software than your, I don't know, like the team of junior developers. Again, no disrespect, and respectful, of course. So having the skill,
no disrespect.
Yeah, exactly. Having the skill to describe what's your intent with this application, writing specifications, thinking about your code more like what's going to be product rather than frameworks, classes, libraries, and all this kind of stuff. But that would be essential. I think that's kind of like my advice for those tools.
Yeah, and obviously your mastery is not going anywhere with this stuff, as you also we need to be on top of our game in terms of understanding architecture, technology, best practices, and what's not, to be able to steer AI in the right direction. None of that is replacing any of you. That's kind of important to mention.
There's a new skill you can find on LinkedIn that's called kind of vibe code fixer or something like that, right?
Yeah,
So the people who come to your organization and unscrew your vibe coding that your people wrote. But with this, I think it's a good opportunity to remind you this is the Baruch Sadagursky from TaxCare.
Victor Gamov is Confluent.
And you can find our resources. We're available for enhanced interrogation. We will be here around if you want to pick our brain. But with this, have a nice day.
We still have tons of time for questions. And I still have tons of T-shirts to give. So
yeah. Yes, please.
Go for it. In the specification, can we have? Yeah. So the question is like pipeline, like in continuous delivery. Yeah. So we stayed away from continuous delivery part. The question was, what about pipelines, continuous delivery, Docker image, and what's not? We stayed away to keep it simple. We run it all on our machine. But obviously, it's exactly the same thing, right? Context 7 has documentation for all the CI and CD tools and Docker and what's not. And it's all a matter of putting that in the requirements, and it will do all that. In the end of the day, thanks to DevOps and configuration as code, everything is code, and that's exactly the same process.
We explicitly in our requirements, surprisingly, the models, the more advanced model, they actually know and anticipate to create all these things. If we're saying we build a microservice, okay, so let's bring database, let's bring containers and stuff like that. We explicitly said nothing of this we need because we want to do this for demo. This is going to be a self-contained application, so we're going to exclude this. But these recommendations, usually you go into like a non-functional requirements and your quality control and your pipelines and stuff like that. You can describe this there. And it's going to be another step in your plan, another set of tasks that will be implemented or set of specification. You probably also will have a set of like a smoke tests for running this in containers and so far and so on.
Yeah, and it will work exactly the same way. Yes. 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 So okay, this is perfect. This is the intent integrity check is perfect for the large organizations that have pre-existing design teams, design systems, and what's not. Yes. Yes, and if you want to use those tools in the model and you want a model to query those systems, the easiest way is to create your own MCP. Now, the creation of your own MCP is literally maybe 50 lines of code.
And we have a talk about this.
We have a talk about that.
If you're going to check AI assist engineering, you can see how you can build MCP server with Quarkus just with one annotation.
And Spring Boot and Quarkus, Longgen4j, it's extremely simple. Basically, you have a service that you write the code of what it connects to and what it brings back. You put an annotation. It's a tool. This is how AI is calling this tool, and you pack it in whatever you want, like Docker image and what's not, and you're done. It's extremely simple. One of the reasons why now we have more MCP builders than MCP users is because how simple it is.
Everyone is MCP builder, but not.
Yes.
And specifically for UI part, so you actually can dump your screenshots into conversation with your agent. And
MCP can return images.
And you can recognize it. Figma is a good example. They have this like MCP server. Everyone is raving about this. You have a Figma design. You can bring this into your MCP, and they can build like JavaScript based on your Figma design.
Yes.
Do you know if there's any other thing for Podman or Rancher for this MCP tool?
Yeah, so the question is if we know that Docker desktop competitors have anything like MCP toolkit. I don't know anyone else who does that.
I have no idea. Like,
worth
I don't
checking.
know who's with the good mind will be using, Ranger. I'm just kidding. So
No, the reason is
there's
obviously
no
the
like
licensing
yes,
of,
it's
of Docker
yeah.
Desktop.
Most likely Podman has something because I've seen lots of talks from Red Hat folks. They were talking about the hosting model. So you need to check if they have this. It's a feature that is on top. As your product manager, it was easy wins, and slapping AI into your application is implement something like this. So if they're you like a product manager in Rancher or a product manager in Podman, just go implement this functionality. It's things already there. It's already in public repository.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Docker Desktop.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know that
we
there are a
totally
lot
get
of
it, yeah.
organizations cannot use Docker Desktop, and so basically the answer is we are not familiar. It's worth checking because it doesn't look like something impossible to
But again,
implement.
it's just like a tool that gives you a little bit of flexibility. You probably can implement this yourself. It's nothing crazy to implement MCP server.
You can
that
ask
would be
AI
proxy.
to implement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it so all these editors they are like they're all using different AI models and can exchange those, but is it just that they is it just a contest on who can like feed context in the right way?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you. That's definitely a T-shirt. So the question is, all those editors have a selector of models, and in the end of the day, they are exactly the same models. So what's the point?
Price.
What's the difference between all those AI editors? How Windsurf is different from Cursor, is different from VS Code when they eventually the same editor in essence. And you asked if it's a contest of which one can massage the model better, basically. And the answer is yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. The ability to control the model responses in both directions, what eventually is sent to the model as a question and what come back from the model as an answer by adding information from rules, from context, from code base, and doing it is the most efficient way, that's exactly where the competition is.
In the very beginning, when we start doing this, we look at tools like Cursor and Windsurf. They're doing things faster, but Juni was doing things slower and was like, why it's slow? Like it's using the same model. It's like some API rate limiting, but essentially what the Juni was doing is the internal loops, but checking responses and saying that's okay. So we need to refine those things and stuff like that. So it's all about system prompt. It's all about how good developers of the system develop this system prompt that will be suitable for consumption inside this. So that's why like systems that have more generic things. So Juni has like 4 models to select. Like Windsurf has like tens of models to select. Like Continue has even local models. So it's all about like if you will be very specific on the models and you will design your tools around specifics that you know inside this model, how the tools will be calling, how to do MCP interaction, all these kind of things. That's the big thing. But also like how expensive is for you as a creator of the tool will be using the models.
Yeah, no, but you don't compete on that.
Well, I mean, you remember the times when the some of these models were not available. For example, Sonnet models were not available.
Access to
Windsurfs-
models, yes. Access to model, yes. But mostly, at least the most interesting part of this competition is the system prompt, the massaging of the prompt before and after, and basically the ability to get more from the same model.
Yeah.
So, for example, in my experience, the same model, Sonnet 4.5 is doing much better in VS Studio Code than it does in vanilla Claude Code because they do more with it on the inbound and on the outbound.
So there is a project, you can find this on GitHub. It's called Leaked System Prompts, and you can see that some people was just like went to the route to reverse engineer all these prompts. You can see the difference, how different tools will interact with the same model, but they have a different system prompts, and that creates like tremendous difference in the results.
Yep.
I have a question. So you put some code of conduct specification and so on into the same repo, right? Initially, do you see any constraints? I mean, token limitation. Say, for instance, with Juno, you have a limitation of token and so on.
Yes.
And you have to increase your subscription and so on. I mean,
So
Yeah, so
you
the
need to
question is,
yeah, what's up with the constraints of the context window? For example, rules. So that's why we have a different rules, have a different activations.
it's not context window. It's token limitation. It's
Okay.
usage limitation. Something else.
Okay.
It's basically a rate limiting on usage. So obviously, again, and then going back to what we just spoke about, the massaging of the model before and after. The more IDE does back and forth between the model behind the scenes, the more tokens it will consume without you realizing it.
Obviously.
And this might come as a surprise. You run different IDEs, even with the same model, and you run exactly the same prompts, and one of the IDEs will consume much more tokens than the other, and that's before all the system prompting that's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the limitation, say, in terms of security, I would like to set up the security like that. I would like the code of conduct like that. So any code generation done should respect my
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this case, you have a rules and different triggers for those rules. There are certain rules, like you said, code of conduct needs to be executed always, regardless of the thing. So in this case, it will be part of the context all the time. If you have a rules for a particular kind of like a language, particular there's even kind of like heuristics that allow to LLM to decide to obey those tools or obey those rules or just like use something else. So short answer is that usually if you need to be very specific about a particular tool you're using. Like Windsurf has the 12,000 characters for all the rules. So that's why they recommended you to split this from one.windsurf.rules file to multiple files. In each file will have a different activation, so you will obey these 12,000 characters. It's not even tokens, it's the characters, because you need to check documentation for the things. I know for Windsurf, for the Juni does like smart things, and it figures out how to not to blow up the context window. Other tools, again, need to check documentation, what's the size. Yep. There's a question over there. Yeah, gentleman with mustache.
Request for your opinion. So right now, there may be a point where the models are smart enough so that we as developers, they would not require our vibe coding fixing ability. Do you think? What's your opinion on that? Do you think that is going to happen at some point?
So the question is, will we ever be at the point when the models are so smart that the vibe coding fixers are not needed anymore? So the problem with why vibe coder fixers are needed now and will be needed in the future is human language. The problem is that the intent that we express in human language is never clear enough to be what's the word?
Interpreted by...
No, like yes. So it won't be always correctly interpreted by the UI, and this will never change. It will never change because human language is unambiguous, that's the word. Because human language is ambiguous and will always require the clarifications after a model understood something from it. And there won't be ever a model that will do it correctly from the first take because of our inability as humans to explain things in an unambiguous manner. It's just impossible. So in the end of the day, our job is to clarify the intent in every point of the intent integrity chain. When it goes from language to requirements, when it goes from requirements to specs, when it goes from specs to tests, we have to be there not to correct the syntax, but to align the intent.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap. We will be available outside.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming. Don't forget, there's There's like a 5-star vote thing only works.
Yeah, that just vote 5 stars. The rest
Other
doesn't
buttons
work.
doesn't
Yep.
work for some reasons. I don't know. Maybe
Also,
it was
if
rough-coded.
someone feels that they want a T-shirt for voting 5 stars, we can do that as well.
It's a bribery. We can win.
Is it? Is it?
Probably. I don't
maybe.
know. Thank you so much. Hopefully you had a great time. We had a great time preparing this. Hopefully you got something interesting, or at least you've been at least entertained.
Yes.
Thanks so much for staying at
Thank
the
you.
very end. Thank you.